Chapter 407. Pissed off Pin Liang felt a little awkward, his face covered in dirt. Yao Yao threw it? And it's fine. The crowd looked at him in disdain. Meng Yao threw it, and was fine? How could there be someone this shameless? She was just yelling about how she was going to beat him up. It wasn't me. I haven't finished my drink yet. Meng Yao frowned. Naturally, she knew that Yushu was messing with Pin Liang, but she didn't want people to misunderstand her. She threw a bottle at Pin Liang. She didn't even want to hit him. Who did he think he was? With that, Meng Yao took out her drink from her desk and shook it in front of Yushu. Will you die if you don't talk nonsense? I'll pull out your tongue again. Oh, I'll stop, but I won't fall for it again. I won't open my mouth. Yushu covered her mouth. Pin Liang's eyes were blazing with fury. Yushu was clearly messing with him, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't afford to piss off Yushu. Her brother Chen Yutian aside, Yushu was Meng Yao's best friend, and he didn't dare piss her off. Pin Liang could only vent his anger on someone else. I'll count to 3. Who threw the bottle? Step out now, or I'll show you what I'm going to do. Pin Liang was really getting agitated. He'd been suppressing his anger time and time again, and now it was all out. He was about to explode. All right, I threw it. Xiao Xiao wasn't expecting this reaction from Pin Liang, but seeing Lin Yi looking at her with a smile on his face, she could only stand up and admit it. Even if she didn't, Lin Yi would expose her anyway. But she was wrong. Lin Yi didn't care about something like this, especially when it was Pin Liang who got beaten up. Even if he died, it had nothing to do with him. Pin Liang didn't think that it was Xiao Xiao who threw the bottle. His face twisted. Pin Liang felt like he was going to die. He didn't dare piss off Lin Yi, nor did he dare piss off Meng Yao and Yushu, but Xiao Xiao right now was something he couldn't afford to piss off. Lil sis Xiao Xiao. It's fine now, huh? Pin Liang held his breath as he sat back in his seat. He felt like a balloon, ready to explode at any moment. However, there was nothing he could do. He couldn't afford to offend them, so he could only hide. Pin Liang didn't just embarrass himself a little. The students in the class wanted to laugh, but they didn't dare. Pin Liang, on the other hand, knew that he'd embarrassed himself. He wouldn't have stood up if he'd known this was going to happen. He'd shouted 3 times, and it was all embarrassing. How unlucky. Damn it. Ever since Lin Yi transferred to this class, everything has been going wrong for me. Pin Liang punched the wall angrily. He could only vent his anger on the wall. Brother Liang, bear with it. When Pao Zi returns from the mountain, it will be the time of Lin Yi's death. Xiaofu already knew where Naipeo was going, and so he was looking forward to seeing him return after completing his studies. Yeah, but now that he's here, I can't even get Meng Yao. My relationship with Meng Yao is getting worse and worse. Pin Liang said angrily. Well, those tricks from before aren't working either. Xiaofu was a good strategist, after all. But Liang bro, you need to hurry up. You're graduating soon, and it'll be even harder when you go to university. If we're not in the same faculty, it'll be hard to even see each other. You're right, I need to hurry up. Pin Liang nodded. Do you have any good ideas? None of my ideas are working, and I haven't come up with anything yet. Xiaofu shook his head. Forget it, I'll think of something else. Pin Liang didn't know what to do. The last class ended, and before lunch break, Lin Yi finally stood up to leave the classroom. Xiao Xiao was overjoyed to see him, and quickly gestured to Pin Liang as she called him. You go first, clear all the other boys in the washroom. I don't want to see people using the washroom when I go in. Pin Liang took the order and rushed to the washroom with Xiaofu. They had to clear the washroom before Lin Yi came. Otherwise, Xiao Xiao wouldn't be happy if there were other people in the men's washroom. Clear the place, clear the place. All of you, get the hell out of here. Pin Liang didn't dare say anything to Lin Yi, but to these students, he was very cocky. It didn't take long for everyone in the washroom to leave, but there was always an exception. A boy with a cigarette in his mouth walked out from a stall, glaring at Pin Liang. I say, Liang, you're really something, aren't you? I was just smoking, and you came out? It was Zhou Ruoming. Others might be afraid of Pin Liang, but he wasn't. He was pissed that Pin Liang had disturbed him. Pin Liang wouldn't dare start a fight with Zhou Ruoming normally, but today was different. He curled his lips after Zhou Ruoming was done. Ming bro, Xiao Xiao has something to do here later. Don't say I didn't warn you, but if you want to stay here and cause trouble, then stay. Xiao Xiao has something to do here? Ruoming paused, the cigarette in his mouth falling to the ground with a thud. He didn't even bother picking it up. Why didn't you say so earlier? With that, she ran out of the bathroom, not bothering to talk to Pin Liang anymore. Pin Liang smiled as he watched Zhou Ruoming run away. It didn't take long for the washroom to become empty. Pin Liang and Xiaofu stood at the entrance, one on the left and the other on the right. They were like two door gods, stopping anyone who wanted to use the washroom from entering. He walked to the washroom door and saw Pin Liang and Xiaofu standing there. He was confused. What are you two doing? It's nothing. It's nothing. We're waiting for someone here. Pin Liang said quickly. Boss Lin, you need to use the washroom? Welcome, come in. He frowned. Was there something wrong with these two? But he still went into the washroom. There wasn't a single soul in the washroom, and he subconsciously raised his guard. Pin Liang and Xiaofu weren't good people, so why would they be waiting in front of the washroom? Was there something going on? Hey, what happened? Did he go in? Xiao Xiao and he walked to the washroom door, but Xiao Xiao was afraid that he would notice her. She didn't see he walk in. Chapter 408. The toilet rained again. Xiao Xiao nodded, satisfied. Very well, I'll be going in then. You guys keep watch. Don't worry, Lil Sis Xiao Xiao. Pin Yang nodded. Xiao Xiao took out her phone and set it to camera mode before tiptoeing into the men's washroom. To be honest, she was quite nervous right now, since this was her first time in the men's washroom. Xiao Xiao had been a rebellious girl all these years, and she didn't even blink when she stabbed someone, but she couldn't help but blush at the thought of going to the men's washroom. Xiao Xiao closed her eyes and decided that she'd just walk over and take a bunch of pictures. She was using it to blackmail anyways, so it didn't matter if the pictures were bad or not. He was going easy, but he kept his guard up. Yi's heart tightened when he heard the footsteps behind him, but there was no glass in front of him this time, so he couldn't see what was going on behind him. He didn't even need to guess to know that it had something to do with Pin Liang. Why else would he be standing at the door with Xiaofu? What he didn't understand was why Pin Liang was so retarded. Using the same trick twice? Didn't he remember the lesson from the artificial rain? The jade had a very small warning, meaning that the person wasn't going to kill him, but there was still some hostility. Since it was an enemy, he didn't care anymore. He turned around just like last time. Since you've used the same trick twice, I'll let you do it again. Xiao Xiao was walking forward with her eyes closed, ready to take a picture of when it started raining. She gasped subconsciously and opened her eyes to see what was going on. What she saw made her face turn pale. This wasn't rain. It was Yi's piss. Xiao Xiao screamed again, covering her eyes subconsciously, but her hand was full of water. It was piss. Xiao Xiao was furious and disgusted. I'll kill you. After saying that, she couldn't be bothered to pat anymore. She covered her face and hurriedly ran out of the restroom. Pin Liang and Xiaofu, on the other hand, had been paying attention to what was going on inside the washroom. When he used the same trick, Pin Liang knew that this was bad. As expected, Xiao Xiao was drenched in water. She was probably going crazy now, wasn't she? Xiao Xiao stood by the faucet outside the washroom, furiously washing her hair and face with the water. Her body was covered in urine, but there was nothing she could do. She couldn't wash her clothes too, could she? That would be transparent. After washing her hair and face, Xiao Xiao went downstairs. She needed to go buy some clothes and find a hotel to take a shower. She was about to explode. Pin Liang and Xiaofu didn't know what to say as they listened to the Audi TT's engine roar and watched as Xiao Xiao disappeared in her car like a puff of smoke. Xiao Xiao was probably going crazy from the anger this time. She'd better not vent her anger on the two of them later. You two, get in here. He was scared out of his wits. He never would have thought that it would be Xiao Xiao who entered the washroom. But when he saw the phone in Xiao Xiao's hand, he could guess what was going on. No wonder this girl was so nice this morning, asking him if he was thirsty, even offering him a drink. She wanted to take a picture of him going to the washroom. Lin felt a little awkward about getting Xiao Xiao drenched in the rain. She wasn't Pin Liang or Gao Xiaofu, after all. She was a girl, and while her motive wasn't pure, wasn't what he did a little too dirty to her? Whatever. He'd let her learn a lesson. Otherwise, she'd bother him all day. But Pin Liang and Xiaofu were guarding the washroom door. Lin wasn't planning on letting them go so easily. It was obvious that Xiao Xiao was the main culprit, and these two were accomplices. Why else would they be guarding the door? Pin Liang and Xiaofu looked at each other, a bitter smile on their faces. They thought that after Xiao Xiao took a picture of Lin, he would focus all his attention on her and ignore the two door gods. But now that Xiao Xiao was gone, it was only the two of them left. Pin Liang wanted to run, but he knew that as long as he was in Class 5, he wouldn't be able to escape. Lin would catch him sooner or later, and it was only a matter of time before he got beaten up. He might as well make it as soon as possible. Pin Liang and Xiaofu walked into the washroom with their heads down, a little scared. Boss Lin, it's not our fault. It's Xiao Xiao. She forced us to do this. Is that so? Lin asked faintly. Yes, it's her. Pin Liang nodded quickly. Boss Lin, you don't know how strong Xiao Xiao used to be. She's the fourth of us big four, the last one, but that's because she's a girl. She's a lot fiercer than us. Pin Liang wanted to divert Lin Yi's attention to Xiao Xiao so that he wouldn't pay attention to them. Oh, is that so? Lin looked at Pin Liang. He wanted to know what kind of person Xiao Xiao was, or he'd be annoyed by her every day. Yes, there was a boy who tried to hit on her, and she kicked him in the balls. Also, there was a gangster who tried to rob the school, and she stabbed him until he was crippled. Pin Liang said. So, Boss Lin, she's too fierce. We're not even on the same level. We can't not help her, I see. Lin nodded. Then let's forget about it. Thank you, Boss Lin. Thank you, Boss Lin. Pin Liang and Xiaofu were overjoyed that Lin wasn't going to pursue the matter anymore. Don't celebrate too early. Let's not forget about this matter. There are other things. Lin said faintly. Even if she forced you to do it, what do you think would happen to you two if I told her that the two of you had already been drenched in the rain once, but I didn't warn her and let her take the risk? What do you think would happen to the two of you? Wouldn't you get your balls kicked in? Why? Pin Liang was stunned, not expecting Lin to threaten him. But he was really scared now. If Lin really told Xiao Xiao about this, he'd die a horrible death. Xiao Xiao would probably drive him to the toilet with a knife and force him to eat shit as an apology. Chapter 409. Chapter 409. I'll go see you. Pin Liang scolded himself silently. The reason why he didn't mention it was because it was simply too embarrassing. Nai Peo and Xiaofu hadn't been able to beat Lin at all, and they'd been put in such a difficult position. How could he talk about something as embarrassing as that? But now he regretted it. If he'd known this would happen, he'd have warned Xiao Xiao, even if it meant embarrassing himself. He was done for now. If Xiao Xiao found out the truth, the consequences would be dire. Boss Lin, you wouldn't do this to us, would you? Pin Liang begged, his face bitter. He'd rather get beaten up by Lin. Two choices. 1. Kneel in the toilet for 10 minutes and leave, or I'll tell Xiao Xiao the truth. Lin said. All right, I'll kneel. Pin Liang felt disgusted by kneeling in a toilet full of urine, but compared to telling Xiao Xiao the truth, he'd rather kneel on the ground, or he'd die a horrible death. All right, I'm leaving. Lin wasn't in the mood to deal with these two idiots. He just wanted to teach them a lesson, and whether they kneeled or not depended on themselves. Lin said, You could try to fake it, but I might be everywhere. Don't worry, Boss Lin. Pin Liang shivered. He wanted to wait for Lin to leave before leaving, but Lin Yi's words scared the shit out of him. Come to think of it, Lin really did seem to be everywhere. Every time he was feeling good, he'd be there to mess things up. Pin Liang was speechless. Was Lin sent by the heavens to purposely go against him? Can Xiaofu and I take turns kneeling? We'll have someone to keep a lookout. Whatever. 10 minutes per person. As long as it's enough. Lin turned around and left. Kong Xiaobo took advantage of the lunch break to look for Xiaofun. The knot in Xiaofun's heart was untied, and she became much more cheerful. Kong Xiaobo's heart seemed to have been set, and his contact with Xiao Fan became more frequent. Lin Yi guessed that he was looking for Xiao Fan to discuss the future of university, so he didn't disturb him. Instead, he called Tang Yun, but he was surprised to know that Tang Yun wasn't at school either. She went to the hospital to take care of her father for lunch. During the day, Mrs. Tang resumed her business at the food street behind the school. The task of bringing lunch to Tang Juqing fell on Tang Yun's shoulders. Mrs. Tang prepared the food at home and brought it to school. She then set up a stall to do business, and Tang Yun brought the food to the hospital. "Why didn't you say anything? I'll just send you there," Lin Yi frowned. Tang Yun took the bus to the hospital alone, and it would take up a lot of time. "I was afraid that you would be busy, so I didn't want to disturb you." Tang Yun was happy to hear Lin Yi's words. "I thought you sent Kong Xiaobo back to find Xiao Fan. Why would I send him back if he's looking for Xiao Fan? He's not my wife." Lin Yi was speechless. Idiot! Tang Yun understood the meaning behind Lin Yi's words. If she was his wife, why would he send her back? What did he mean by sending her to the hospital? Was she his wife? Haha, I'll go pick you up, and I'll check on Uncle Tang's condition. Lin Yi had nothing to do in school, and it would be troublesome when Xiao Xiao came back. It was better to leave now. "Okay, I'll wait for you in the ward," Tang Yun said. Tang Yun wanted to reject it at first. Lunchtime was tight, and she didn't want Lin Yi to run around, but he said he wanted to check on her father, so she agreed. "See you later." Lin Yi hung up and went to the food street behind the school to get his car. Tang Yun put her phone away happily, but when she turned around, she saw her father smiling at her. Tang Yun felt a little embarrassed. Mr. and Mrs. Tang didn't object to Lin Yi's forceful intervention. Tang Juqing had to thank Lin Yi for the surgery. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, he would still be lying at home. "Is it Lin Yi?" Tang Juqing asked. "Yeah, he said he wanted to see you." Tang Yun knew that Lin Yi had medical skills, but she thought he only knew a little. But after what happened yesterday, Fatty lying kneeling on the ground and crying, Lu Tiany's flattery towards Lin Yi, and Xu Amin's respect towards Lin Yi, Tang Yun was completely shocked. Even when she arrived at the hospital, she was still unable to calm her excitement for a long time. It seemed that she had underestimated Lin Yi. Lin Yi wasn't like what she had imagined, a rich young master who used his family's money to bully others. Lin Yi's arrogance was completely based on his own ability. If it wasn't for Lin Yi's ability, why would he be respected and recognized by so many people? Fatty Lai didn't know the details. Maybe he was hot-headed, but Lu Tiany and Xu Min wouldn't be hot-headed as well, would they? It seemed that Lin Yi's medical skills weren't as simple as a little bit. It was extremely shocking. Tang Yun was proud of Lin Yi, but at the same time, her fragile heart was also a little hesitant. Lin Yi was so outstanding. Was she worthy of him? Would he not want her in the future? Her family didn't have money, and she couldn't help him much. The only thing she could say was that she was a little prettier, but there were so many beautiful girls out there. Why did Lin Yi choose her? Tang Yun didn't want to think about these things. They were still young, and there was still a long way to go before marriage. But seeing how outstanding Lin Yi was, Tang Yun couldn't help but think about these things. Lin Yi prepared to go to the food street behind the school to get his car. Nowadays, the food street vendors had reserved a parking space for Lin Yi every day. Who would dare to mess with this young master? Mrs. Tang's business was booming as well, and no one dared to be jealous of her anymore. Anyone who dared to be jealous would be looking for death. Everyone, including Zhang Biaoqiao, was very polite to Mrs. Tang. Mrs. Tang hadn't come to the stall for a few days, and no one dared to take her spot. When Mrs. Tang came, everyone greeted her warmly and asked why she hadn't come for a few days. Mrs. Tang was flattered, but at the same time, she felt more and more grateful to Lin Yi. Her family was finally doing well. She believed that things would only get better and better in the future. Her business was doing well, and her man had his surgery. She believed that he would be able to stand up soon. Even if he couldn't walk normally, it wouldn't be a problem if he limped a little. He would be able to help her with her work. Mrs. Tang's face was full of smiles as she thought about her bright future. She looked a few years younger, and the male vendors all looked at her in awe. Chapter 410. Welcome. Lin Yi saw that Mrs. Tang had opened her stall in the food street behind the school. He walked over to greet her with a smile. "Auntie, business back? It's been a few days. Your Uncle Tang's fine now, so I'm going to open my stall." Mrs. Tang had wanted to talk to Linny a bit, but he took out his car keys. "You going out?" "I'm going to the hospital to pick her up and see Uncle Tang." Linny nodded. "Then hurry up and go. Be careful on the way." Mrs. Tang was overjoyed to hear that he was going to pick up her daughter. Nothing was happier than seeing how well he treated her daughter. "Right? Have you eaten yet?" "Not yet. We'll talk about it when we get there." He didn't hide it. "Just in time. I've got 2 chicken drumsticks here. Eat them first, don't starve," Mrs. Tang said as she quickly put some seasoning on the drumsticks and handed them to Lin Yi accepted the drumstick with a smile, nodded to Mrs. Tang, and got in the car to leave. Lingshan rushed to Songshan's First People's Hospital the moment she received the report. The 6th. It was already the 6th. Lingshan rubbed her temples, feeling the pressure. It hadn't even been a week, and there were already 6 cases of homeless, beggars, or disabled people getting their kidneys cut off and dumped near the hospital. This wasn't just a simple crime anymore. Lingshan guessed that it might be the work of a criminal gang. "How is it?" Lingshan got out of the police car and saw her subordinate, Lu Wangli, standing in a corner with the police tape. "Captain Song, the victim's been sent to the emergency room, and I'm sending people to investigate the scene. This isn't the first crime scene. The victim's left kidney was cut off and dumped here. The time of the crime is estimated to be around 4 in the morning, and the victim was left here around 11 in the afternoon. There's too many cars going in and out of the hospital, and we haven't found any witnesses yet," Wang Li reported with a bitter smile. He knew that Lingshan was under a lot of pressure. This was the 6th case, and it wasn't a joke. Although the higher-ups didn't specify the time to solve the case, it was only a matter of time. The victims were all beggars, homeless people, and handicapped people, but they were still important to Lingshan. No matter who they were, Lingshan had to work hard to solve this case, bring the mastermind to justice. Lingshan nodded weakly. "How's Lu Buojia?" Lu Buojia was the victim of the murder maniac from before. Although Lu Buojia didn't say anything, Lingshan hadn't stopped investigating him. Finally, she found a rather suspicious clue. At around 6 o'clock on the night Lu Buojia's family was killed, someone called the police from the public phone booth in Lu Buojia's neighborhood. According to the operator who answered the call, there was a man who panicked and said that he had discovered an organ trafficking ring and that it was likely that they had already discovered him. He wanted to seek police protection. He didn't make any sense at the time, and he didn't give his contact number either. The operator could only ask the police to contact the public phone booth, but no one picked up. They sent people to the phone booth, but they didn't find anything out of the ordinary, so they could only retreat. The incident passed just like that, because no one paid much attention to it. However, Lingshan only found this clue when she checked the call records that night. Organ trafficking ring? Could it be related to the 6 kidney cases? Only now did Lingshan feel that Lu Buojia's family had something to do with the kidney case. Lu Buojia still hasn't woken up, and he's on a ventilator every day. The doctor said that once the ventilator is removed, he'll die. Lu Wangli sighed and shook his head with a bitter smile. What he meant was that there was no need to waste any energy. Lingshan frowned, but there was nothing she could do. She knew Lu Buojia's situation, and she always hoped for a miracle to happen. Even if it was just for a moment, it'd be enough to give the police some clues. But the miracle didn't happen. Before Lu Buojia was attacked, he kept quiet every day, as if he was afraid of something. If he got tired of being interrogated, he'd tell Lingshan that his family was already dead, that he was already miserable enough, and that he didn't want to die, so he asked Lingshan to let him go. At that time, Lu Buojia was still in the hospital, so Lingshan wasn't too worried. She thought that after Lu Buojia was discharged, she'd strengthen her psychological attack, and she'd be able to get some information out of him. But something unexpected happened. Beep! He pressed on the car horn twice, wondering why this song girl was blocking the entrance of the hospital. Was she even going to let him pass? When the other cars saw Lingshan and Lu Wangli standing in front of the hospital in uniform, as well as the police investigating something, they all took a detour and entered the hospital from the back door. Only He dared to press on the horn. What are you honking for? Don't you know how to enter from the back door? Ling Shan was a little annoyed. She was thinking about the case in her head when a car horn interrupted her. She couldn't help but frown. You think everyone's like you, getting into the police force through the back door? He curled his lips, mocking her. Ling Shan only realized now that it was He who was pressing on the horn. Her face paled when she heard what he said. What did you say? Who's getting in through the back door? Who knows? He curled his lips. Move aside. I still have things to do. I don't have time to waste with you. With that, He started the car, wanting to enter the hospital. Wait. Ling Shan suddenly stood in front of Lin Yi's car, not letting him go. The more impatient Lin Yi was, the more Ling Shan didn't want him to get what he wanted. I have something to talk to you about. Lin Yi slammed on the brakes, stopping the car. He was a little speechless. I say, dumb girl, even if your crime-solving rate is low, you don't have to think about suicide, do you? Even if you want me to run you over, you should find a place with no one around, right? You're trying to scam me in front of all your underlings. I won't be able to explain myself, even if I run you over. You. Ling Shan was furious, gritting her teeth as she glared at Lin Yi. If you call me dumb girl again, or that I got into the police force through the back door, I won't be polite to you anymore. So you've been very polite to me all this time? Lin Yi laughed. Then I'd really like to see what you'll be like. You're welcome to do so. Chapter 411. Did you think I'm a fortune teller? In actuality, the police had heard it, but they'd misunderstood, thinking that Lin Yi was Ling Shan's rumored boyfriend. Who would dare talk to Ling Shan like that? Ling Shan wouldn't let him live, would she? Lin Yi, I need to talk to you about something serious. Ling Shan gritted her teeth as she pulled open Lin Yi's passenger door and got in. It didn't matter if Lin Yi was lucky or unlucky in the previous cases. He'd solve them anyway. Ling Shan just so happened to run into Lin Yi, and since the guy was still so cocky, she'd use him again. Let's see if he can solve another case. Oh, what is it? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. She was begging him to do something right after scolding him. This woman's brain structure was quite something. Don't come to me if it's serious. I'm pressed for time. Ling Shan's eyes widened. What did she mean by don't come to him for serious business? Did she have to come to him for anything other than serious business? I'll give you a minute. Speak. Lin Yi parked the car in the hospital's parking lot, and someone came to collect the parking fee. Lin Yi pointed at Ling Shan. This is our captain's song. She's here for a case. The person who collected the parking fee knew that there was a case near the hospital, and so he took one look at Ling Shan's uniform before sticking a free sticker in front of Lin Yi's car window and leaving. Lin Yi didn't really care about the few kwai parking fee, but the problem was that this old woman had overcharged Lin Yi 5 kwai last time, saying that Lin Yi had parked for 2 hours when Lin Yi had parked for an hour. She'd even pointed at the time on the sticker and showed it to Lin Yi. Lin Yi knew that the woman must have written the time a little earlier when he parked, but he couldn't be bothered to argue with her. He paid the money and left. But the school only had a 1-hour lunch break, so how could he park for 2 hours? Ling Shan was here this time, and he'd be able to take advantage of her. Ling Shan didn't know what was going on, but seeing how Lin Yi was using her to save 5 kwai on parking fees, she glared at Lin Yi with disdain. There's been a lot of cases of beggars, homeless people, and disabled people getting their kidneys cut off and dumped in front of a hospital. Do you know about that? I think I heard it mentioned in the news. When Lin Yi was driving in the morning, he seemed to have heard it mentioned on the radio, but he didn't pay attention to it. Lin Yi rarely paid attention to things that had nothing to do with him. What do you think? Do you know who the murderer is? Ling Shan asked. Lin Yi looked at Ling Shan oddly. I don't think you should be asking me that. Oh. Ling Shan blinked. Do you think I'm a fortune teller who can predict the future? Only a master can answer your question. Lin Yi shrugged. All right, it's a waste of time talking to you. I'm leaving. Wait. Ling Shan pulled Lin Yi back. Then how did you catch those bank robbers last time? How did I catch them last time? I told you. Lin Yi was getting impatient, but Ling Shan wouldn't let him go if he didn't explain things clearly. He could only patiently explain. I can help you catch criminals, but you have to give me a range. I'll only help you when you're sure. Otherwise, I'll really become a god. Ling Shan thought about it. Lin Yi was right. If he knew everything, then he'd really be a fortune teller. Then I'll look for you when I have something. Ling Shan didn't want to let Lin Yi go. All right. Lin Yi nodded and walked into the hospital. Ling Shan followed Lin Yi to the hospital. She wanted to check on Bojia's condition and asked the doctor if there was any hope for him to wake up. The police officers guarding Bojia's room all stood up and saluted when they saw Ling Shan. Captain Song. Ling Shan waved her hand. Is the doctor here? The doctor is in the office. Captain Song, follow me? One of the officers said. Ling Shan nodded and followed the officer to the doctor's office. The officer introduced, this is Bojia's main doctor, Dr. Yang. Hello, Dr. Yang, I'm Ling Shan. Ling Shan politely shook hands with the doctor. Dr. Yang, how's Bojia's condition? Is there any chance of him waking up? I've tried my best, but there's no effect. Dr. Yang smiled apologetically. Captain Song, there's nothing else I can do. I can only maintain it for now. So you're saying that there's no chance for him to recover from our hospital? Ling Shan looked at the doctor, disappointed. Is there any hope if we transfer him to another hospital? Our Songshan's first hospital is the best hospital in Songshan. We can only transfer him to another hospital out of town, but I'm afraid the patient can't handle it. Dr. Yang shook his head. So there's really no hope? Ling Shan sighed. This Bujia would have caught the culprit if he'd told them the truth earlier. At that time, that psychopathic murderer might not even bother looking for him anymore. It's not that there's no hope. Dr. Yang hesitated. If you know Professor Guan Xiumin from Songshan's Medical University, you can try acupuncture. But he doesn't do it easily. Professor Guan? Ling Shan naturally had heard of this name. He was a famous Eastern doctor in Songshan, known as Miracle Dr. Guan. Huaijuan had a good relationship with him and had been treating him all this time. Ling Shan wouldn't be so sure if it were someone else, but with Huaijuan's help, Professor Guan would definitely be able to make him do it. Ling Shan felt relieved at the thought. Thank you, Dr. Yang. I think I have an idea. Haha, it's nothing. I'm just trying my best. Dr. Yang nodded with a smile. Ling Shan dialed Huaijuan's number after leaving the doctor's office. Song, you're in trouble again? Huaijuan picked up the phone with a smile on his face. He'd been in a good mood lately. Not only had he been promoted, but most importantly, the number of times his injuries had flared up had decreased. It had been half a month now, from once a day to once a day. This was only the first stage of treatment, and the results were already so obvious. Lin Yi said that he'd change his bandages and add acupuncture after a month. Just how powerful would that be? Huaijuan was looking forward to it. Yang bro. Ling Shan was a little embarrassed. Huaijuan had hit the nail on the head. I do have something to ask of you. Speak, what is it? Huaijuan had always treated Ling Shan as his little sister, and so he took special care of her. Chapter 412. You still need to find Lin Yi. Who is it? Huaijuan asked. Guan Xiumin, Professor Guan, the one who's been treating you, Yang bro. Ling Shan called Huaijuan bro Yang in private. It sounded more intimate. Oh, Elder Guan? Huaijuan blinked. If you're looking for him, then don't go looking for him. Go look for Lin Yi. Look for Lin Yi? Ling Shan blinked as well. What for? If you look for Elder Guan, he'll recommend Lin Yi to you as well. Huaijuan smiled. Ling Shan was still a little puzzled. Why was Huaijuan telling her to look for Lin Yi all the time? Was Lin Yi omnipotent? She'd asked him to help her catch the culprit, but he didn't know about it. Why would he have a solution for Lu Bujia? But Huaijuan must have his reasons for saying that. Ling Shan didn't trust Lin Yi that much, but she trusted Huaijuan 100%. With that thought, she dialed up Lin Yi, pushed open Tang Juqing's door and walked in. The father and daughter were talking about something, and Tang Yun immediately shut her mouth when she saw Lin Yi. Her face reddened. You? Why didn't you knock? Tang Juqing was all smiles. Lily, you're here. Come sit. Ying, get your classmate some water and peel an apple. No need for that. Lin Yi waved his hand. We don't have much time for lunch. I'll go back with Tang Yun after checking on your injuries. All right, what should I do? Juqing was very happy. His daughter had told him about the miraculous scene yesterday, and he was both satisfied and panicking at the same time. He didn't know if Lin Yi would be interested in his daughter. It's fine, Uncle Tang. You can just lie on your side. Lin Yi walked over with a smile and took out a box of silver needles from his pocket. It was the one he used to perform acupuncture on Lu Jinhu, and he'd kept it with him ever since. Okay. Tang Juqing quickly cooperated with Lin Yi and turned his body sideways. Lin Yi seemed to be casually poking a needle into Tang Juqing's waist, making Tang Yin jump in fright. She patted her chest in relief when she saw that her father didn't seem to be affected by it. Do you feel anything? Lin Yi asked. No. Tang Juqing shook his head slightly. Lin Yi frowned and began to turn the needle handle in his hand. Then he asked, do you feel anything now? No. Tang Juqing shook his head again. Lin Yi's expression froze slightly. Juqing didn't see it, but Tang Yun did. She couldn't help but feel nervous, but she didn't dare to ask. She was afraid that her father's happy mood would fall to the bottom again. How do you feel here? Lin Yi changed the position of the needle. A little numb. Tang Juqing responded this time. My waist feels itchy. Yeah. It's all right. It's not a big problem. Lin Yi smiled. Is that so? That's good, that's good. Juqing was overjoyed to hear Lin Yi's words. His daughter had told him a lot about how amazing Lin Yi was before Lin Yi came. And now that he saw Lin Yi's amazing acupuncture skills, he was even more impressed. Uncle Tang, forgive me for being blunt. Your left leg is fine, but there's something wrong with your right leg. Lin Yi didn't hide it. He didn't need to hide it anymore. He'd find out after a few days. Only one leg. Isn't that a cripple? Tang Yin said subconsciously, startled. She realized that it wasn't the right thing to say. Her father would be upset if she said that in front of him. Oh, only one leg can move? That's not bad. It's much better than lying on the bed and not being able to do anything. She can even help her mom. Juqing didn't think too much about it. It was only a short moment of shock before he recovered his happiness. It was fine as long as he was stronger than he was now. What was the point of asking so much? It's good that you have this mentality, Uncle Tang. Lin Yi thought that he'd have to comfort Juqing, but he didn't expect him to be so open-minded. It saved him a lot of words. But don't be discouraged, Uncle Tang. I'll give you acupuncture a few times when you're fully recovered. Then, I'll bring the herbs from my hometown. You can get rid of your crutches then. Really? Tang Yin had already accepted reality helplessly, but her eyes widened when she heard that Lin Yi had a way. There's a way. Uncle Tang's situation is similar to Fun's, so of course there's a way. Lin Yi smiled. So Uncle Tang doesn't have to worry about it. It's just a neurological problem. That's good, that's good. Juqing was overjoyed when he heard this unexpected surprise. He thought that there was no hope, but Lin Yi said that it could be cured. Thank you. Tang Yin pursed her lips. There were many words of gratitude in her heart, but when it came to her mouth, it became the simplest word. Isn't it a piece of cake? Lin Yi smiled. His phone rang. Lin Yi made an apologetic gesture and took out his phone. He looked at the caller ID and didn't want to pick it up. It was Ling Shan. What was this girl doing calling him again? Was there something else? Who's calling? Why aren't you picking it up? Tang Yin looked at Lin Yi curiously. Miss Braindead, Lin Yi said and hung up. Miss Braindead? Tang Yin paused. She didn't know who Lin Yi was talking about. It's Song Ling Shan. You've met her before. I helped her rescue a hostage last time, Lin Yi said. Oh, Officer Song. She must be looking for you for something important, right? Why aren't you picking up? Tang Yin remembered. What if you need her help in the future? Tang Yin had been struggling at the bottom of society for too long. To her, it was good to have a friend, especially a powerful police officer. It would be easier for her to help in the future. Trouble her? It's good enough that she doesn't trouble me. Lin Yi's phone rang again. It was Ling Shan again. Lin Yi had no choice but to pick it up. Hello, Miss Braindead, are you done? What else do you want? Lin Yi and Tang Yin didn't stop even after a few sentences. Naturally, he was angry. Ling Shan didn't know how to pick time to call. Say, Ling Shan wanted to say, who are you calling, Miss Braindead? But she held it back. She needed help from Lin Yi, so she was prepared to be scolded. All right, Miss Braindead wants to talk to you. Chapter 413. Chapter 413. Changing tactics, Speak, what's up? Lin Yi was happy. He didn't really want to pick up the call, but what else could Lin Yi say when Ling Shan admitted that she was Miss Braindead? Ling Shan was overjoyed upon hearing Lin Yi's words. This Lin Yi was amenable to coaxing, but not coercion. It seemed like she'd have to change her tactics a little when she asked for help, making it hard for him to reject. The person that the psycho stabbed that day. Do you have a way to wake him up? Ling Shan asked. Which one? The one in Guan Xian's room? Lin Yi thought about it. The only psycho he knew was the one from that day. That's right, he's unconscious right now, and he's being kept alive by a ventilator. Do you have a way? Ling Shan asked hopefully. Oh, Lin Yi had actually checked on Bojia's condition that day. It was very serious. Can you do it or not? Ling Shan pressed after seeing Lin Yi's silence. What's in it for you? Lin Yi asked after some thought. Benefits. Ling Shan was about to say nope, but remembered that Lin Yi wasn't part of the police force, and he had no obligation to help her all the time. I can apply for an honorary police officer position for you, and you'll get some salary every month, but not a lot. Not interested. Lin Yi rejected immediately. What kind of benefits was that? He'd probably be forced to work for Ling Shan all day just for that little bit of salary. Then what do you want? Ling Shan asked. I'll write it down first. I can't think of anything right now. Lin Yi didn't want any benefits right now, but he was just saying it out of convenience. Helping Miss Song was the same as helping Huaijuan. After all, it had to be Huaijuan's doing, after all, and he had to give Huaijuan some face even if he didn't help Ling Shan. Where's the patient? I'll go take a look. He's in the ICU on the 12th floor. You'll see him when you get up. We have people at the door. Ling Shan was still wondering what benefits Lin Yi would ask for, not expecting Lin Yi to agree so easily. Okay, wait for me. Lin Yi hung up and turned to Tang Yun. Are you coming with me? Go and do your work. I won't get involved. I'll accompany Dad down there. Tang Yun hesitated. Ling Shan was very pretty, and it gave her a sense of urgency. But from the looks of things, Lin Yi didn't like Ling Shan at all. He wouldn't be calling her an idiot otherwise. Moreover, Lin Yi wasn't there to play. He was busy with official business. Okay, I'll find you later. Let's go back to school together. Lin Yi nodded and walked out of the ward. Lin Yi took the elevator to the 12th floor. Sure enough, as soon as he stepped out of the elevator, he saw two police officers sitting at the door of a ward. Lin Yi quickly walked over. Mr. Lin Yi, right? Captain Song is waiting for you inside. The police officers at the door nodded to Lin Yi, indicating that he could go in. Lin Yi walked in and saw a large ventilator with a person lying under it. It was Liu Boijia from the other day. He was very thin and haggard. Ling Shan was standing beside the ventilator, not knowing what to do. She quickly asked when she saw Lin Yi come in. Lin Yi, do you have any ideas? Lin Yi didn't say anything. He walked over and checked on Boijia's condition. After a while, he slowly shook his head and said, It's very troublesome. Troublesome? But Lin Yi didn't say it was impossible. It meant that he had a way. Ling Shan's nervous heart relaxed. You have a way? Yes, but I don't think it's worth it. It's a waste of energy. Lin Yi shook his head. Ling Shan gritted her teeth. She didn't think that Lin Yi was putting on airs. Dr. Yang had already explained the situation. Even the hospital couldn't do anything. If Lin Yi had a way, it wouldn't be easy. Miss Braindead, I'm begging you, okay? Ling Shan clenched her teeth as she spat out the words. She knew that Lin Yi could be persuaded by reason, but not cowed by force. Although the nickname Miss Braindead made her want to die and drag Lin Yi down with her, she had to endure it for the sake of Lin Yi's work. She swore to herself that if Lin Yi were to fall into her hands one day, she wouldn't let him get away scot-free. I'll try. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He couldn't reject Ling Shan's request. But my medical skills aren't good enough. I can only wake him up, but I can't guarantee how long he'll live. There are too many problems in his body. So you're saying that you still have a chance to heal him and not just wake him up? Ling Shan understood what Lin Yi meant. I can't, but my old man is close. Lin Yi said, but my old man won't come. If you want him to die, I'll wake him up now. If you want him to live, don't touch him for now. Let him lie down first. Ling Shan was in a difficult position. She wanted to find clues as soon as possible, but if Lin Yi had a chance to heal Boijia, she would rather not have this clue. She didn't have a way before. Getting Boijia to say a few words was already good enough, but now that Lin Yi had a way, she couldn't sacrifice an innocent person for nothing. Call me when you're done. I'm going back. Lenny knew what Ling Shan was thinking. He smiled. Lunch break time is limited. Don't think about it. Wait until you have a way to heal him. Ling Shan shook her head. Oh, Lin, he was surprised. He didn't expect Ling Shan to be this decisive. He had underestimated her. Her sense of justice and responsibility was quite strong. All right, I'll try my best. I'll give you an answer as soon as possible. This time, it was Ling Shan's turn to be surprised. She didn't expect Lin Yi to say something like that. Every time she looked for Lin Yi, he'd always give her all sorts of excuses and excuses. But this time, he said that he'd try his best, and as soon as possible. Ling Shan couldn't get used to this. Wasn't this a little too fast? Could it be that her soft attitude brought about the effect? It had to be. As expected, he was amenable to coaxing, but not coercion. Then Miss Braindead will wait for your call. Ling Shan felt that it was very awkward to say it out, but fortunately, her men were outside. No one could see them. She could just treat it as a whisper to Lin Yi. As long as the kid was willing to help, it didn't matter if she was a little brain dead. Who asked him to be stronger than her? Lin Yi acted as if he didn't know Ling Shan at all. She called him Miss Braindead 3 times already, and was willing to call herself Miss Braindead for help. Chapter 414. A strange analysis report. Ling Shan finally exploded as she watched Lin Yi leave. She clenched her teeth and swung her fist at the wall. Lin Yi, I'll punch you to death. You bastard. How dare you give me a nickname? Miss Braindead. Miss Braindead. You're Miss Braindead. Pung, 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 pung. Ling Shan threw 5 punches in one go, only stopping when her hands started hurting. She stormed out of the room, her 2 lackeys sitting up straight. They'd heard the commotion in the room, too, and knew that Ling Shan was pissed. They didn't want to mess with her right now. Fatty Lai couldn't believe his eyes. His old man was awake. Not only was he awake, he could talk and eat. Dad, are you all right? Are you all right? Fatty Lai was so excited that he almost fainted. I'll go get the doctor. Wait for me. Fatty Lai dashed out of the room and shouted, Doctor? Where's the doctor? Someone come. What's wrong? What's wrong? The doctor thought that something had happened in the room and rushed over. But when he entered the room, he realized that Fatty Lai's father was awake. Doctor, please check on my dad. Is he all right? What Fatty Lai wanted to do the most right now was run to Lin Yi's side and kowtow a couple of times. What a benefactor. The doctor frantically called for a nurse to do a checkup on the old man. But the report surprised him even more. All the indicators were clearly much better than before, and while the uremia wasn't completely cured, it was getting better. How is this possible? How is this possible? The doctor stared at the report in his hands, dumbfounded. He just told Chang Tian yesterday that there was nothing he could do, so why was Elder Lai awake today? This didn't make any sense, right? The doctor suddenly remembered something. This Lai Chang'e had gotten some pill of life extension and toxin cleansing from God knows where and wanted to give it to Elder Lai. Could it be that the pill was working? Other than that, he couldn't think of any other possibilities. At that thought, the doctor hurriedly asked, Mr. Lai, did you give your father that pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? I've taken it. How is it? It's effective, right? Huh, I told you it would work. Fatty Lai was grinning from ear to ear as he looked at the report. Not even half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing had such miraculous effects. If he could get his hands on a whole pill, wouldn't his father's illness be under control immediately? Fatty Lai, on the other hand, didn't expect his father to fully recover. As long as the disease was under control, it would be fine. The old man was getting on in years, and it was his only wish to live as long as he could. It's really effective. The doctor wiped the sweat on his forehead. I've never seen such a miraculous effect. Mr. Lai, forgive me for being blunt, but you should bring the old man to that expert. I can't do anything about it. The doctor had received a lot of red packets from the Lai brothers, so he told the truth and pointed out the right path for Fatty Lai. Sigh. Fatty Lai's face turned sour at the doctor's words. Would the expert even care about me? The doctor shook his head, thinking that it was true. If the expert really was the expert, he wouldn't care about a crybaby like Fatty Lai, crying all the time. He was an adult. Shouldn't he be ashamed? Then let him rest in the hospital for now. I'll try my best. The doctor said, All right, you have to keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone. Fatty Lie suddenly thought of something and reminded her. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. The doctor nodded. Am I an idiot? Not only will I offend you, but it won't do me any good either. If I keep quiet, the outside world will think that I cured old Lai, and my reputation will increase. Lai Changtian's face was very ugly as he rushed to the hospital. His father was really awake, and he seemed to be in good spirits. He didn't think that his brother would be able to wake the old man up by a fluke. But this meant that the agreement Lai Changyi had written was no longer effect. The old man was still alive, and Lai Changyi had no right to decide the ownership of the electronics park. Chang Tian could only give his best wishes and congratulations to the old man. But in his heart, he was thinking of ways to trick the old man into making the agreement he signed with Lai Changyi a reality. Donghai, House Kang's villa. Dr. Kong looked at the analysis report in his hands with a strange expression on his face. If it weren't for the fact that this report was personally verified by Kong Mingming himself, Dr. Kong would have thought that he was being played. Dog poop? The main ingredient of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is dog poop. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Dr. Kong stared at the report, his face full of disbelief. No, Zhao Long shook his head. Grandpa, I've had people analyze it many times, and the conclusion is that it's most similar to dog poop. Dog poop? Could it be that dog poop has something to do with life extension and toxin cleansing? Dr. Kong couldn't understand how dog poop could have such an effect. But Grandpa, I really do feel great. After Kong Xiaoming got what he wanted, he didn't pretend to be sick anymore. The next day, he appeared in the living room of House Kong, full of energy and vigor. Grandpa, I feel much better. I won't lie to you guys, I used to have a weak kidney, but now Kong Mingming didn't continue, but everyone understood what he meant. He was the most useless playboy in the family, always hanging around with women. No one doubted his words. Xiaoming, you really feel great? Dr. Kong found this very strange. Dog poop could be used to treat illnesses? Yeah, Grandpa, I really feel great right now. Kong Mingming nodded, as if he was showing off a treasure. Grandpa, actually, I think that the main ingredient of this medicine is dog poop. It's not that surprising. Oh, what do you mean? Dr. Kang's interest was piqued. If it were in the past, he wouldn't have paid any attention to this grandson. He was just a playboy, using his family's name to eat and wait for his death. But ever since Kong Mingming used his own body to test the medicine, Dr. Kong started to value Kong Ming more. He wanted to hear what he had to say now that he had something to say. Chapter 415, Kong Family Alliance by Marriage Slap. Miracle Dr. Kong slapped his thigh as he stood up excitedly. You've woken me up from my daydream. You've really woken me up. Xiaoming, you're right. If urine can cure diseases, why can't poop? Yeah, Grandpa, don't people say that dog poop stinks? That proves that dog poop stinks, and no one has ever eaten dog poop before because it stinks too much. Kong Mingming said, but it's possible that someone accidentally discovered the secret of dog poop and created this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. In fact, it's possible that this thing is made up of dog poop. Grandpa, Xiaoming's right. Xiaolong couldn't let Kong Mingming steal all the limelight. He used to be the best of the younger generation in the house, so he quickly interjected. Grandpa, I think so too. Look at this so-called dog treasure. It's just a stone in a dog's stomach. If it were any other animal, the stone would be trash, but it's a treasure in a dog's body, so I don't think dog poop is a bad thing. It's probably the main ingredient of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Yeah, Xiaolong's right. Dr. Kong nodded. I didn't dote on you guys for nothing. With you two brothers in this generation, House Kong will be even more glorious. I'm glad. If this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made, you two will be the biggest contributors. You two will get the majority of the shares. Thank you, Grandpa. Xiaolong and Kong Mingming were very happy. They'd gotten the shares of the new medicine with just a few words. It was too easy. How about this, Xiaolong? Get someone to collect some dog poop, and we'll do an experiment. Dr. Kong ordered. Make the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing as soon as possible. House Kang's status will rise even higher this way. The golden creation medicine from before will be a piece of cake. No problem, Grandpa. I'll get someone to do this right away and get it done as soon as possible. Xiaolong nodded. Yes, very good. Miracle Dr. Kong said. There's another important thing I need to talk about. It's about your marriage, Xiaolong. My marriage? What do you mean? Xiaolong blinked. I don't have a girlfriend yet. What marriage? Xiaolong was different from Xiaoming. Xiaoming was a playboy, changing girlfriends more than he ate. Xiaolong, on the other hand, was different. As the rising star of the third generation of House Kong, he had too much hope placed on him from a young age. Although he wanted to date and find a girlfriend, he was a man of great self-control and ambition. He gave up on love without hesitation, even if there was a girl he liked. He'd off. He Konged on. He li up. He of Ming Shan. He didn't all. This was the main reason why Dr. Kong thought so highly of him. He didn't understand why Dr. Kong brought up his marriage. Haha, it doesn't matter if you have a girlfriend or not. I've arranged a marriage for you, and the girl is very pretty. It's a big family. What do you think, Xiaolong? Dr. Kong asked. Isn't this a little too fast? Grandpa, I haven't finished my doctorate yet. Xiaolong was startled. It was too sudden. It's not fast. You're already a doctorate. Many people bring their kids with them. I even had a second uncle when I was your age. Dr. Kong waved his hand. Xiaolong, you have to understand that this marriage is very important to our Kang's reputation in the upper class. Even though we've made a name for ourselves with golden creation, we're still a merchant family with a miracle formula. I may be called Dr. Kong, but that's just out of respect. I'm not a miracle doctor at all. So if House Kong wants to rise to the ranks of the big families, other than working hard ourselves, we have to connect with other families through marriage. Of course, those big families don't care about us. They don't want to connect with us through marriage, but some of the poor families are more than happy to do it. But no matter how poor they are, they were once big families. They have a certain level of status and prestige. As long as we're together, House Kong will rise. It's all up to you, Grandpa. Xiaolong nodded after some hesitation. If that was the case, then his marriage with the other side would be the key to House Kang's success. He'd become a hero, and his position in House Kong would rise as well. This was a good thing for him. Xiaolong only hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Grandpa, which family? Yinjing's Xiao family. Dr. Kong said. The Xiao family's elder, Xiao, was a little muddle-headed in his later years. He signed a couple of fraudulent contracts, pretty much giving away most of the Xiao family's assets. The Xiao family's brothers were in a mess, and in order to protect the Xiao family's position, the only option was to connect through marriage. There was one more thing Dr. Kong didn't say. It was that House Kong wanted to rise to the ranks of the big families, and the two families would be a perfect match. All right, I have no objections. Xiaolong nodded. All right, since you've agreed, I brought the picture of the girl. Have a look. If it's okay, I'll send the betrothal gift. Dr. Kong said, we'll find a date to hold the engagement ceremony and confirm it. Our family's reputation will rise as well. Even though the Xiao family doesn't have much money now, they still have their connections in the business world. House Kang's medical group can use their connections to expand on a large scale. All right, Grandpa, I'll arrange it. Xiaolong nodded. It didn't matter if the girl was pretty or not. The important thing was that Xiaolong's position in House Kong would be confirmed through this marriage. If she wasn't pretty, then he'd accept it. If she was pretty, then he'd just take it. This is the girl's picture. If you like it, you can go talk to her yourself. You young people should be able to get along well, Dr. Kong said as he passed a picture to Xiaolong. Even though she's not from the same family, the girl's father isn't someone to be underestimated. He runs a medical chain company in Songshan, and he'll be our helper. Xiaolong was overjoyed. He didn't think that the girl's family would be so good. His position in House Kong would be even greater. Xiaolong took the picture and glanced at it casually, but his eyes couldn't move away. Chapter 416. About Lin Yi, bro. I'll give you some advice. Kong Ming went over curiously. wanting to see what his future sister-in-law looked like. One look, and he realized that his bro had really hit the jackpot. Why wasn't he the one getting married? How unlucky. Bro, you've hit the jackpot. I've seen countless girls in my life, and this is one of the best. Out of all the girls I know, only that bitch Tang Yun can compare to her. The worst part is that Kong Xiaobo got her before I even got her. Everyone in the family knew what kind of person Kong Mingming was, so they just laughed it off. Zhao Long, on the other hand, was really happy. Even his playboy brother said it was good. It had to be a goddess. Don't worry, we'll find you a good one in the future, Zhao Long said to Kong Mingming. But you're better than me. I'll only have one in my life. How many do you have already? Haha, of course. Kong Mingming didn't feel ashamed at all. Instead, he felt proud. But Kong Mingming's actions were nothing compared to his contributions to the family. Dr. Kong and the others didn't think that Kong Mingming was sick in the head. It'd be a waste if one wasn't a playboy. Zhao Long was a good student, and Kong Mingming was a playboy. They weren't lonely in the family. Xiao Xiao rushed into a clothing store with her hair dripping wet under everyone's weird gazes. She bought a new set from the inside out before driving to the nearest hotel, taking a hot shower, and changing into a new set of clothes before heading back to school angrily. She didn't want to let Linny go, but she didn't know Lin Yi's trump card. Linny looked like he was a good fighter, and his reflexes were super fast, too. She'd been discovered the moment she snuck into the washroom. No wonder Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming weren't his match. This was evident from the fact that he was Meng Yao's bodyguard. Peng Zhan wouldn't have hired him if he wasn't strong enough. It seemed that he had to thoroughly understand Lin Yi before he made his next move. Otherwise, it was very likely that he would suffer a great loss again. With that thought, Xiao Xiao decided to ask Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming about Lin Yi. When Xiao Xiao got back to school, Pin Liang and Xiaofu had just finished changing as well. They'd been kneeling in the toilet for a long time, and their pants were quite dirty. Lil sis Xiao Xiao. Pin Liang didn't want to, but he couldn't pretend that he didn't see her at the school gates. Otherwise, things would get worse. You two, get over here. Xiao Xiao pointed at Pin Liang and said coldly. Pin Liang and Xiaofu's hearts skipped a beat. Could it be that Lin Yi didn't keep his promise and told Xiao Xiao about what happened? The two were scared out of their wits. They carefully walked up to Xiao Xiao and smiled. Lil sis Xiao Xiao, what's wrong? It's not our fault. We didn't know that Lin Yi would turn around all of a sudden. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Xiao Xiao frowned, a little unhappy. She didn't even mention it. Why did you bring it up? What was the meaning of this? Were you trying to humiliate her? Ugh. Then Lil sis Xiao Xiao is looking for us. Pin Liang let out a breath of relief after hearing Xiao Xiao's words, but he was also a little fearful. It seemed like he'd been an idiot. How could he just bring up something as embarrassing as Xiao Xiao's? Of course, she wouldn't be happy about it. Get Zhou Ruoming here, too. I have something to talk to you guys about. Xiao Xiao ordered. Ugh. Okay, I'll go get him now. Xiaofu volunteered. He was Pin Liang's henchman. How could he let Pin Liang run errands for him? Zhou Ruoming was actually quite easy to find. He played basketball almost every day, and Xiaofu could spot him easily. Ming bro, over here. Xiaofu called out to Zhou Ruoming. What's up? Zhou Ruoming was about to go in for a layup when Xiaofu called out to him. He jumped up in fright and let go of the basketball, displeased. Can't you wait until I'm done? Lil sis Xiao Xiao is looking for you. Xiaofu said. Fuck, why didn't you say so earlier? Zhou Ruoming jogged over, a shocked expression on his face. You two idiots. You pissed off Lil sis Xiao Xiao this morning, and now you're dragging me down with you. You're so mean. Zhou Ruoming knew a thing or two about what happened to Xiao Xiao this morning. Pin Liang didn't go into detail, but it was obvious that Xiao Xiao was taken advantage of, and so Zhou Ruoming was quite afraid to go see her. It's fine, Lil sis Xiao Xiao didn't mention that, so don't bring it up. I think she's just asking us about Lin Yi. You'll know when you get here, Xiaofu said. Let's go, don't let Lil sis Xiao Xiao wait too long. All right, I'll go now. Zhou Ruoming nodded and left the school gates with Xiaofu. Xiao Xiao brought them to a coffee shop beside the school and got straight to the point. Why don't you guys tell me about Lin Yi? I'm sure you guys know about how I got taken advantage of by Lin Yi today. This Lin Yi guy doesn't look like a normal person. Zoroaming looked at Pinliang and Xiaofu. Logically speaking, what happened to Lin Yi was a nightmare and a humiliation to them. Everyone had been dealt with by Lin Yi in different ways, and it was a little embarrassing to talk about it now. What? You don't want to talk about it? Xiao Xiao frowned. And no, Pinliang and Xiao Xiao were in the same class, and they'd seen each other all the time. He didn't want to piss her off. I'll talk first. When Lin Yi first transferred here, he kicked me in the face. I wasn't happy, so I wanted to get back at him. And so, Pinliang started talking about his grudge with Lin Yi, all the way until Heibao Bro came to school and got his face stepped on by Lin. So you're saying that even gangsters aren't his match? Xiao Xiao was a little surprised. She'd already guessed that Lin Yi wasn't weak from how he pushed the cart with one arm, but she didn't expect Lin Yi to be this strong. Even the gangsters with guns were beaten to the point of looking for their teeth on the ground. Of course, Pinliang didn't tell her about Heibao Bro breaking through to Golden Class. She'd be even more shocked if Heibao Bro still wasn't a match for Lin Yi. Chapter 417. Chapter 417, Car Accident. Xiao Xiao was speechless. She'd wanted him to have some conflict with Lin Yi today, but now it seemed like he didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi at all. It's a little embarrassing, but it's the truth. In this school, no, even with the gangsters in society, I'm sure no one can do anything to that Lin Yi kid. He's not even scared of guns. Pinliang tried to explain himself. Since you're not afraid of embarrassing yourself, then I'll tell you. Zoroaming sighed as he started complaining. I got slapped by Lin Yi in front of so many students and even the dean. What could I do? I couldn't beat him, he's so arrogant. Xiao Xiao was getting dizzy. It seemed like her investigation wasn't enough. Lin Yi was so strong, and she still had to fight him head-on? That was impossible. It seemed that fighting head-on wasn't going to work. She was a pretty fierce girl, but Lin Yi was even fiercer. Xiao Xiao didn't have the confidence to do anything to Lin Yi after hearing what Pinliang and Zoroaming said. This Lin Yi doesn't have any weaknesses? Xiao Xiao frowned. Do you guys know if Lin Yi has a weakness? Weakness, Zoroaming said, troubled. Probably Tang Yun. If you touch her. Haha, Lil Sis Xiao Xiao, why don't you do some research and get Tang Yun for me? I'll do it for you. Zoroaming still didn't want to give up on Tang Yun. He didn't get to fulfill his wish last time, since Lin Yi ruined it, but he still hoped that he could have Tang Yun for himself. He didn't believe that Lin Yi would kill him. What was done, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to do anything. Tang Yun would just follow him obediently, and Lin Yi probably wouldn't make things difficult for him for Tang Yun's sake. No, Xiao Xiao rejected him flatly. She wanted to cause trouble for Lin Yi, but she wanted Lin Yi to give in and teach her how to fight and drive. If she really did anything to Tang Yun, then Lin Yi wouldn't be able to teach her anything, and the two would become mortal enemies. Ugh, then I have no other choice. Zoroaming shook his head. I don't have any good ideas myself. Pinliang didn't know what Lin Yi's weakness was. He would have done it himself if he knew. Xiao Xiao cursed the two of them inwardly. They were useless, a waste of time. On the way back to school with Tang Yun, they were on the fast lane on the left. He didn't expect to bump into someone who was going against the traffic when they got on the viaduct. Lin Yi frowned. There were cars on the left and right, and changing lanes was impossible. Even if he didn't think about himself, he had to think about Tang Yun. Lin Yi turned on the high beam, wanted the car to go back to the right lane, but what Lin Yi didn't expect was that the car didn't slow down and go back. Instead, it copied Lin Yi and flashed the high beam, and it was a modified hernia lamp. If it weren't for Lin Yi's good eyesight, he would have been blinded. Lin Yi had no other choice. If this continued, the two cars would crash into each other. Tang Yun was already screaming in fear. Lin Yi suddenly turned the steering wheel to the right and pulled the handbrake. The van swerved in a beautiful arc, and the back of the van smashed into the front of the car. Although Lin Yi had carefully controlled the angle and force, there was still a loud sound. Tang Yun, on the other hand, was fine. Zhou Tiandi had just gotten a brand new BMW a few days ago, and his son had given him a custom license plate. It was a very cool license plate. SB. At first, Tierney wanted a license plate that was all 8s. He thought that Zhou Ruoguang's license plate didn't have any 8s or SIXS in it, and it was all in Western languages. But Zhou Ruoguang said that 888 and 00544 weren't popular anymore. Those were outdated. License plates nowadays were about individuality. Only with a personalized license plate would it be cool when you go out. The 888 and 666 on the street didn't have as many people turning their heads to look at them. The only ones that did were the SB. Tierney didn't think much about it. Since his son said that the license plate was cool and unique, then he'd use it. What he didn't expect was that it really was cool. Almost 100% of the people on the street turned their heads to look at him, and some even took out their phones to take pictures of him enviously. This satisfied Tierney's vanity. There were even 2 drivers on the street who got too excited when they saw his license plate and crashed into each other. This gave Tierney an indescribable sense of honor. Even when he was driving on the wrong side of the road, many cars would make way for him. No one dared to fight him head-on. But today, some idiot had crashed his brand-new car. Tierney panicked, jumping out of the car to pull on Lin Yi's door. "Get the fuck out of the car. Are you blind or what? Do you even know how to drive? I have such a cool license plate. How dare you crash it?" Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect someone to be this cocky, even when driving on the wrong side of the road. He couldn't help but look at the license plate and almost burst out laughing when he saw it. What unique license plate. What are you laughing at? There's no use laughing, you little bastard. You ruined my new car. Pay me 100,000 kwai, or you're not leaving. Tierney was having a great time, planning on taking his car out for a walk whenever he had nothing better to do, but Lin Yi crashed his car into it. How many days would it be before he could show off his cool license plate? You crashed my car on the wrong side of the road, and you're asking me for money? Lin Yi was speechless as he looked at the familiar-looking man in front of him. Where had he seen him before? Lin Yi's memory wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth remembering small fries and small fries. He couldn't remember who this small fry was. How much is a bun like you worth? Don't think I don't know that you crashed my car on purpose. Trying to drift with me? I'm telling you, it's no use. If you don't pay me today, don't even think about leaving. Tierney didn't lack money, but he was pissed off today. He wanted to make things difficult for Lin Yi, who told him to crash his cool car. All right, stop wasting time. You crashed my car, and I'm not asking you for money anymore. Let's go our separate ways. I'm in a hurry. Lin Yi got out of the car and looked at his van. There was only a dent in the back, so he smashed it a few times and straightened the metal. Chapter 4:18. He really didn't dare. Lin Yi shrugged. I just smoothed out the metal on my car. How am I trying to scare you? Just you wait. Don't leave if you dare. Tierney him coldly before pulling out his phone. Ruoguang, where are you? I'm in the North District on Southern Titanium Road. My car was hit by someone, and this guy doesn't want to pay up, even using his fist to scare me. Fine, I'll wait for you. Hurry up. Lin Yi frowned. Since the guy didn't want to let this go, then he'd deal with it. Lin Yi pulled out his phone as well and called Ling Shan. Ling Shan was quite surprised to see Lin Yi's call. She thought that Lin Yi had thought of a solution this quickly. She picked up, surprised. Lin Yi, you got a solution? No. Someone ran into me on the wrong side of the road. Come take a look. Lin Yi said faintly. Ran into you? Are you all right? Ling Shan paused. She needed Lin Yi's help right now. And if something were to happen to Lin Yi, then the rescue mission would be over. I'm fine. They're trying to scam me, and they're trying to scare me. Lin Yi said, You're coming to me for something like this? Can't you solve it yourself? Ling Shan found Lin Yi's words funny and annoying at the same time. You're coming to me for something like this? Aren't you supposed to be capable? All right, I'll smash his car and beat him up. Lin Yi said, Ling Shan smiled bitterly. All right, wait for me. I'll go over now. If Lin Yi were to smash someone's car, he'd probably end up in the police station. She'd be the one in trouble then. So Ling Shan had no choice but to agree. Southern Titanium Road. Lin Yi smiled. If they get here before you come, I'll have to do it. All right, I got it. Ling Shan humphed, afraid that Lin Yi would cause trouble for her. Don't be rash. Miss Braindead is coming. Ling Shan added helplessly. Yeah, all right. Only now did Lin Yi realize that Ling Shan had a cute side to her. This violent, brain-dead girl wasn't completely useless. It doesn't matter who you go to. I'm telling you, you're dead meat today. Don't even think about leaving if you don't get 100,000. Tianyi threatened, pointing at Lin Yi. This was his newly bought BMW. It had been driven for less than half a month, but it was hit by Lin Yi. The headlights were broken, which made him very distressed. Therefore, he had to make Lin Yi pay the price. The roar of an engine was heard, accompanied by the earth-shattering subwoofer DJ music. A motorcycle quickly drove over and stopped between the BMW and the van. Tianyi was overjoyed. His son was here, and the person who hit his car was dead meat. Dad, what's going on? Who hit you? Zhou Wang jumped off the motorcycle and took charge. He crashed my car and didn't pay up. I'll kill him. That's the little bastard. Beat him up first, then smash his car and make him pay 100,000. Tianyi smiled coldly as he pointed at Lin Yi and gave the order. Tianyi was going crazy with anger. His brand new BMW, with a cool license plate, was destroyed by this kid with a van. He wouldn't be able to calm down if he didn't teach him a lesson. Besides, Tianyi hadn't been in a good mood for the past 2 days. He had his eyes on a girl in the company and was about to get her when her boyfriend came out and ruined his plans. Who? Just you? Hey. Zhou Wang was about to teach the kid with the van a lesson when he turned around and saw Lin Yi. Zhou Wang had better eyesight than his old man Tianyi. Tianyi didn't recognize Lin Yi, but Zhou Wang recognized Lin Yi right away. How? How come it's you? Before Lin Yi could reply, Zhou Wang grabbed his father's arm and pulled him to the side. He whispered, Dad, why did you piss him off again? I can't wait to avoid him, and now you're pissing him off. Aren't you just looking for trouble? Who? You know this kid? Tianyi paused. Even the men who came with Zhou Wang were taken aback. They didn't know why Zhou Wang would say something like that. Isn't he the one who threw you out of the hospital room? Zhou Wang smiled bitterly. Dad, just apologize to him. Don't cause trouble. This kid isn't easy to deal with. Apologize? How can you do that? I don't believe he can fight 4 hands with 2 fists. You have so many people with you. What's there to be afraid of? Tianyi frowned. He was a celebrity, after all, and now he had to apologize to a little brat after getting hit by a car on the street. What face would he have left if word got out? How could he take that? Then find someone else, Dad. I don't want to die yet. Zhou Wang shook his head. Lin Yi had already traumatized him last time, and he couldn't bring himself to go against Lin Yi at all. You're just a piece of trash that can't be helped. Tianyi hemped coldly. Even your brother has more balls than you. I'll ask your brother to take care of this kid next time. Zhou Wang kept his head down and didn't say anything. He really didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi. It wasn't an act, and so he pretended not to hear anything Tianyi said. Trash. Tianyi was infuriated. He was about to say something else when a police siren sounded not far away. A police car sped over and stopped beside Tianyi's BMW, its lights flashing. Ling Shan let out a sigh of relief when she saw that everyone was alive and well. She'd rushed through the red lights all the way here because she was afraid that Lin Yi would cause trouble for her. Luckily, Lin Yi didn't hit anyone. All of you, follow me back to the police station. Ling Shan's heart was in her throat the whole time, and she was naturally furious. She pointed at Tianyi and Lin Yi. Tianyi wasn't expecting a police officer to show up all of a sudden. He frowned. Why was there a police officer here when he didn't even call the police? Were they just passing by? What a busybody. I say, comrade, I have friends in the traffic police. You don't have to worry about this anymore. We can handle this ourselves. Tianyi waved his hand at Ling Shan. As far as he was concerned, Ling Shan was young and a policewoman. She was just an intern who just graduated, so he didn't really care about her. She was quite pretty, and her body was hot as well. But Tianyi wasn't stupid enough to flirt with a policewoman. He didn't want to go to jail yet. Chapter 419. I'll give you a mission. All right, give me a minute. I'll make a call. Tianyi pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Hello, Wang bro. I'm Zhou Tiandi. I got into a car accident on Jinan Road and was about to settle it privately when a police officer came over. Right, can you talk to her? All right, I'll give her the phone. With that, Tiandi handed the phone to Ling Shan. Answer the phone? Ling Shan looked at Tiandi with a half-smile as she took the phone. Hello, I'm Ling Shan. Who's this? Song? Captain Song? The guy was just about to say something when he heard Ling Shan's name. Everyone in Songshan knew about Ling Shan from the criminal police team. After all, who would dare go against her? He couldn't possibly order a criminal police captain around, could he? Plus, since Ling Shan was keeping an eye on Tiandi, it might be some big case. Maybe he was doing some illegal business. He had to draw a line between him and Ling Shan as soon as possible. With that in mind, Wang Bro said, It's fine, Captain Song, I won't disturb you anymore. Ling Shan handed the phone back to Tiandi, who didn't hear what Wang Bro was saying. I'm Ling Shan. He thought that everything was settled, and was about to thank Wang Bro when he realized that the call had been hung up. Tiandi didn't think much of it, thinking that Wang Bro was busy. Wang Bro told you, right? You can leave now, little comrade. Don't stick your nose in other people's business. Dad. Zhou quickly pulled Tiandi back. Tiandi didn't know Ling Shan, but how could Zhou Ruoguang not know her? As the head of the North District's gangsters, it'd be a waste if he didn't know the criminal police captain. His face paled as he watched his father lecture him. What are you doing? Tiandi glared at his son. What do you want? Dad, she's Captain Song from the crime squad. Zhou Ruoguang said carefully. Why? Tiandi froze like an idiot. She's the captain of the criminal police force? Are you leaving or not? I don't need to do anything, do I? Ling Shan said as she pulled out the handcuffs. Let's go. Let's go then. Tiandi's face was grim. He didn't think that he'd pissed off the captain of the criminal police. If he didn't leave now, the captain would probably pull out a gun. It's none of my business. I'm just passing by. Zhou Ruoguang didn't want to go to the police station. You're going too. You were illegally driving an unlicensed modified motorcycle, and I suspect that you're trying to gather a crowd to cause trouble. Ling Shan didn't give Zhou Ruoguang the chance to explain. I know you. You can run, but you can't run. You can choose to run. I won't run. Ha! I'll cooperate with the investigation. Zhou Ruoguang smiled miserably with a bitter face. Thank you, Miss Braindead. Lin, he was quite grateful for Ling Shan's help, although Ruoguang's presence reminded him of who Tiandi was. Getting rid of them would be a piece of cake, but Ruoguang's presence reminded him of who Tiandi was. Ling Shan's speed, however, made Linny think that she wasn't bad. No, you're coming with me. Ling Shan was about to explode. You can call me Miss Braindead in private, can't you? Calling me that in front of so many people, how am I supposed to back down? She wasn't going to let Lin get away with it. I want to go too. Lin pointed at his nose, speechless. He was about to say something when Tang Yin spoke up first. Let's go. We have to cooperate with the investigation. It's our duty. Tang Yin was a good kid. Naturally, she wouldn't reject going to the police station. Besides, it's not our fault. It's their fault. We'll be able to explain ourselves in the police station. Huh? All right. Linny nodded, a bitter smile on his face. Tang Yin was a good kid, after all. Linny didn't care what Ling Shan said, and he'd just leave. He didn't believe that Ling Shan would come after him. Phew. Ling Shan breathed out in relief, too. She'd blurted out those words in a fit of anger, not thinking about the consequences at all. She regretted it immediately after. Since when had Lin ever given her any face? Wasn't she just asking to be humiliated if she ordered him around? If Lin left, she'd be in an even worse position in front of Zhou Tiandi and his son. This was even more serious than the Miss Braindead from before. Now that Tang Yun said that she wanted to go to the police station, Ling Shan breathed out in relief. At the same time, she felt grateful for Tang Yun, but at the same time, she was annoyed at Lin for listening to Tang Yun and taking care of her. She wasn't any worse than Tang Yun, was she? She wasn't any weaker than Tang Yun in terms of looks and height, and her body was several times hotter than Tang Yun's as well. Lin was a blind man. How could he be so rude to her? Ling Shan got angrier the more she thought about it. Why was Lin so gentle to Tang Yun and treating her like this? Did he hate her that much? She had to be Miss Braindead to ask for his help. You guys follow me in the car. Lingshan got into the police car, and Lin Yi, Tiandi, and the others followed behind as they made their way to the police station. Zhou Tiandi didn't know about the relationship between Lin Yi and Lingshan, but he was overjoyed to hear Lin Yi call Lingshan Miss Braindead. This was going to be fun. This Lin Yi was probably going to get beaten up, wasn't he? But Tiandi didn't plan on letting Lin Yi go so easily. On the way to the police station, he called his youngest son, Zhou Ruoming. Hey, Ruoming, are you at school? Tiandi had always told Zhou Ruoming to study hard in school, not letting him get involved in fights. But this time he was really pissed off. His eldest son, Zhou Ruoguang, was too much a coward. He couldn't even teach someone a lesson. But his youngest son was a bold and ruthless character. He had always told him to study hard, but Tiandi knew what kind of person he was. Dad, I'm at school, studying. Ruoming had just finished his meeting with Xiao Xiao, and his father's phone call made him jump. It wasn't checking on him, was it? He quickly explained himself. All right, stop bullshitting. Tiandi scolded. Do you think I don't know what kind of person you are? I'll give you a mission. Go to your Uncle Yan's villa in the northern suburbs and ask him to stop someone in front of the police station. I'll send you that person's information later. Me? Zhou Ruoming paused. He didn't think that his father would ask him to do something like this. Didn't he always ask his big brother to do it? Plus, it was his first time asking him to take Uncle Yan on a mission. That was too awesome. Chapter 420. Ambush and Interception. Yes, you're the one. Tiandi was about to explode from anger. He wouldn't have asked Zhou Ruoming to do this otherwise. He couldn't take it anymore, especially after learning that Lin Yi was the one who'd thrown him out of the hospital room the other day. He had to teach Lin Yi a lesson. All right, I'll be right there. Zhou Ruoming nodded quickly, thinking that it'd be great if he could bring Uncle Yin to teach Lin Yi a lesson. With Uncle Yin there, beating up Lin Yi would be child's play. Of course, Zhou Ruoming didn't know that the crippled Heibao bro was a golden class master as well. He wouldn't have thought so otherwise. Tiandi sighed softly as he listened to Ruoming's excited tone. His youngest son was quite the ruthless one. Did he make the wrong decision back then? If he'd let his older son study hard and let his younger son mingle in society, that would have been a good choice, but he'd already made the wrong choice. He'd have to make the best of it. Uncle Yin didn't usually use his phone, nor did he use the phone in his room. He was a master of the world, and Zhou Ruoming wouldn't have had to go invite him personally otherwise. But Tiandi didn't mind. He was a master, after all, and it was normal for a golden class master like Uncle Yin to be different. Moreover, Uncle Yin was right. He was a fugitive, and living in seclusion was the right thing to do, in case someone discovered him. Zhou Ruoming quickly ran out of the school, hailed a taxi, and rushed to the villa in the northern suburbs. Uncle Yin knew Zhou Ruoming, and didn't ask much after hearing that it was an order from Zhou Ruoming. He put on a low-brimmed hat and hurried out the door with Zhou Ruoming. Uncle Yin was a golden class master who wandered between his sect and the underworld. He'd been doing robberies for his sect's funds, but he'd been wanted by the police once. Luckily, Tiandi had saved him, and so he stayed in Songshan, promising to do 3 things for Tiandi before leaving. He had done 2 before, and this was the last one. Once he was done, he could leave and continue his robbery. Beep beep. Zhou Ruoming received a message from Tiandi, the license plate number and model of the van written on it. After Zhou Ruoming told Uncle Yin about it, the 2 of them stood guard on the road in front of the police station. Lingshan didn't make things difficult for Lin Yi when they arrived at the police station. She knew that Lin Yi didn't care about her at all, and that he was only here because of Tang Yun. Therefore, they only gave Lin Yi a statement and let Lin Yi and Tang Yun leave. Lingshan sis is a nice person. Why do you always call her that? Tang Yun didn't understand why Lin Yi would call Lingshan a brain-dead girl. Wasn't Lin Yi a little too bold? He dared to call Lingshan a brain-dead girl. And the weirdest thing was that Lingshan didn't refute it even though she was angry. She's too troublesome, asking me for help all the time. Lin Yi shrugged and didn't say anything else on the topic. Suddenly, the jade on his chest jumped twice, and Lin Yi's face changed. He slowed down the car. Danger! Danger? Tang Yin paused, but before she could ask anything, a shadow floated over and stood not far from Lin Yi's car. Early phase golden class? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He knew the opponent's strength level, but he didn't know why this early phase golden class master would appear here. From the looks of it, he was here for him, but who sent him? Sihua? Obviously not. He'd already killed his late phase golden class master. Sending another early phase golden class was the same as sending himself to death. He believed that Sihua wasn't that stupid. Zhong Fabai? Probably not. He'd even sent Heibao Bro to prison. Jin Gubong? The only possibility that Lin Yi could think of was him. But in the next moment, Lin Yi realized that he was wrong. The person who jumped out after this early phase golden class master wasn't Jin Gubong, but Zhou Ruoming. Zhou Ruoming, on the other hand, was stunned when he saw Lin Yi and Tang Yin in the car. He almost burst out laughing. He recognized Lin Yi's van, but he couldn't remember Lin Yi's car plate number. Uncle Yan's eyes were sharp, and he saw Lin Yi's car coming over first, so he jumped out. It was only now that Zhou Ruoming realized that the person his father wanted him to stop was Lin Yi. In an instant, Zhou Ruoming's entire body was filled with excitement and excitement. He'd been worrying about how to deal with Lin Yi and imagined that Uncle Yan would help him. But Zhou Ruoming knew that it was impossible. He didn't expect it to become reality. "Ha, Lin Yi, it's you?" Zhou Ruoming laughed loudly. "You didn't expect this, did you? You didn't expect this day to come, did you? Lin Yi classmate, who asked you to pretend? This time I'll let you die. Who do you think you are, trying to steal Tang Yin from me? Leave Tang Yin here today, and I'll spare your life." Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming, stunned. Wasn't this guy too naive? Did he think he was invincible just because he got a golden class master? Not to mention the early phase of the golden class. Even if it was the late phase of the golden class, he still had the strength to fight. Ever since he completed the first stage of the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi's strength was comparable to the late phase of the golden class, and he could even fight a mystic class master in the early phase. "Did you eat too many retarded pills?" Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming as if he was looking at an idiot. Even a retarded person wouldn't be like you, right? You're not just a normal retarded person. You're too retarded. Miss Retarded is 10,000 times smarter than you. Huh? Tang Yin, of course, knew who Lin Yi was talking about. She couldn't help but laugh when she heard Lin Yi's words. Zhou Ruoming couldn't help but stare blankly. His desire to take Tang Yin for himself grew stronger. It would be a waste to give such a good girl to Lin Yi. Miss Retarded? Zhou Ruoming didn't know who Miss Retarded was, but he knew that Lin Yi's words weren't good. He gritted his teeth. "Lin Yi, it's useless for you to say anything now. Since you don't know what's good for you, then I won't be polite anymore. Uncle Yan, kill him. Leave that girl here." Zhou Ruoming was suspected of falsifying the imperial edict. Zhou Qianyi only asked him to teach Lin Yi a lesson, but Zhou Ruoming changed it to kill Lin Yi. Slap. Lin Yi slapped Zhou Ruoming's face again. "I told you to stop thinking about Tang Yin. Do you have a bad memory, or are you deaf?" Chapter 421. Effortless Uncle Yin nodded slightly and threw a punch at Lin Yi. In his eyes, Lin Yi was fast, but he was still a normal person. One punch from him would be enough to finish him off. Slap. Zhou Ruoming was shocked, and so was Uncle Yin. Lin Yi's slap landed on Zhou Ruoming's face again, completely ignoring Uncle Yan's punch. He didn't even try to dodge. "Are you retarded? You found a sickly old man to deal with me? Retarded pills are delicious, but you can't eat too much of it. I've never seen someone as retarded as you." Lin Yi shook his head. Uncle Yin almost laughed out loud after the shock. Ignorance was bliss. He was an early phase golden class master, and he was just a sickly old man in Lin Yi's eyes. It was a fact that he was sickly. His body hadn't been healthy since he was young, and he'd only been able to reach the early phase of golden class at most. There wasn't much progress, and that was why he'd volunteered to be the vanguard of his family's sect, coming to the mortal world to steal money to support his family's expenses. But that was only when compared to the other people in his family. This kid in front of him dared to call himself an old man? Uncle Yan's blood rushed to his head as he increased the strength of his fist, preparing to kill Lin Yi with one punch. But before his fist could reach Lin Yi, a crisp slap sounded. Uncle Yin stumbled and fell to the ground, 5 red marks on his face. You think you're something, don't you? You're an early phase golden class master, so what? Don't you think it's embarrassing for an old man like you to bully 2 young people like us? With that, Lin Yi stomped on Uncle Yan's head, deforming the left side of the man's cheek. Even his teeth fell out. Lin Yi's words made Zhou Ruoming and Tang Yin sweat. They've heard of young people bullying old people, but they've never heard of old people bullying young people. However, Uncle Yin didn't think that there was anything wrong with Lin Yi's words. According to Tang Yin and Zhou Ruoming's understanding, it was only applicable in the common world, not in the Wulin world. In the martial arts world, the older one was the more profound their skills were. If an old man bullied a young man, it would be criticized by others as bullying the young. However, was he bullying the weak? Uncle Yin was on the verge of tears. He had really misjudged him. Not only had this young man seen through his strength at a glance, but he had also beaten him up so effortlessly. He was an early phase golden class master, but he was stepped on like a dead dog. He didn't even have a chance to fight back. According to this situation, the young man was at least a middle phase golden class master, or even a late phase golden class master. Uncle Yin, what are you doing? Don't worry, there's no one here, just kill him. Zhou Ruoming didn't understand the situation. He thought that Uncle Yin was pretending to be weak, pretending that he was bullied by Lin Yi, so that he could kill Lin Yi. Although that would achieve his goal, it didn't feel good no matter how he looked at it. It wasn't as satisfying as killing Lin Yi directly, so Zhou Ruoming reminded Uncle Yin anxiously. He couldn't be blamed for thinking that way. In his eyes and heart, early phase golden class masters were like gods, a symbol of invincibility. He once heard from his father, Zhou Tiandi, that it took several armed policemen to barely control Uncle Yin. What did that mean? If it was one-on-one, Uncle Yin was invincible. Although Zhou Ruoming didn't know what early phase golden class was like, he felt that it had to be stronger than Lin Yi. No matter how good Lin Yi was, he was just a normal person. How could he compare to a master of the martial arts world? Even if Lin Yi beat He Bao Bro to a pulp, He Bao Bro was just a gangster. No matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be stronger than a golden class master. That was why Zhou Ruoming could say something so stupid. Uncle Yin heard Zhou Ruoming's words and cried in his heart. Didn't you see the situation? Did you think I wanted to be stepped on? I had no choice but to be stepped on. The opponent's strength was obviously much higher than mine. I'm no match for him. Zhou Ruoming, how did you know I was here? Lin Yi didn't forget to ask Zhou Ruoming as he stepped on Uncle Yin. Lin Yi, don't be so arrogant. When Uncle Yin shows his power, you'll be dead. Zhou Ruoming, the idiot, still didn't see the situation clearly. He still thought that Uncle Yin could kill Lin Yi. You crashed my dad's car and broke my brother's arm. I brought Uncle Yin here to stop you. Oh, that idiot from before was your dad? Lin Yi realized. No wonder Zhou Ruoming knew where he was. So he was Zhou Tianyi's son, Zhou Ruoming's brother. It was like the saying went, don't enter the same door if you're not a family. A family of idiots. Uncle Yin, what are you doing? Hurry up and kill this kid. Zhou Ruoming was confused when he saw that Uncle Yin hadn't exploded yet. Jiao Lao, there are too many people here. It's not easy to kill this old man. Is there a way to cripple him? Lin Yi asked Jiao Yazi in the Jade. Of course. Jiao Lao's voice sounded. People like him who reach golden class through immature training methods have all sorts of flaws. How can they compare to your art of dragon mastery? As long as they haven't reached the earth class, they will have a weak point. Once you break through their weak point, they'll basically be crippled unless they retrain their body and enter golden class through physical arts. Then where's his weak point? Lin Yi was surprised and happy after hearing Jiao Lao's words. I don't know, Jiao Yazi said. Lin Yi almost fell down. Even Jiao Yazi didn't know. But generally, the weak point of golden class is near the Dantian, unless it's a very special physical practitioner. Jiao Yazi's next words gave Lin Yi hope again. Bang! Lin Yi's foot landed on Uncle Yan's Dantian. and Uncle Yin let out a blood-curdling scream before fainting. His whole body was like a deflated balloon, and he slumped to the ground. Linny knew that he had broken Uncle Yan's weak point and directly crippled him. The moment he kicked, he could feel the true energy in Uncle Yan's body quickly leaking out until it disappeared. Just like what Jiao Lao said, Linny could no longer feel Uncle Yan's strength. In his eyes, Uncle Yin was no different from an ordinary old man. Chapter 422. He's mute. A chill rose from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. Zhou Ruoming looked at Lin Yi in horror. Ew, what are you doing? Don't come any closer. Pa! Another slap landed on Zhou Ruoming's face. This time, Lin Yi used more strength, and Zhou Ruoming's right tooth fell out, and the corner of his mouth cracked. You killed Uncle Yin? Zhou Ruoming found it unbelievable. An early phase golden class master was like a god. How could Lin Yi kill him with just a few kicks? How is this possible? No, I'm not like you. Who dares to shout about killing me at the drop of a hat? I'm actually very timid. As Lin Yi spoke, he slapped Zhou Ruoming's face again. Zhou Ruoming's face was almost swollen like a pig's head. Misunderstanding. Boss Lin Yi, it was actually my dad who asked me to bring Uncle Yin to look for trouble with you. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a messenger. Please don't look for trouble with me. Zhou Ruoming knew that he couldn't outrun Lin Yi. Running was equivalent to seeking his own death. He had no choice but to kneel on the ground. Boss Lin Yi, it really has nothing to do with me. That's not what I'm talking about. Lin Yi shook his head. I'm talking about your intentions towards Tang Yun. Lin Yi stepped on Ruoming's face, and Ruoming let out a cry of pain. Ah! I've already said that Tang Yun is my woman. You're still thinking about her? Do you want to die? Lin Yi felt that if he didn't teach Zhou Ruoming a lesson, he wouldn't know that there was such a thing as death in this world. Ah! Ruoming screamed as he held his head. Boss Lin, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I've lost my mind. I won't do anything to Tang Yun anymore. Please let me go. Lin Yi, stop kicking. What if someone dies? Tang Yun was shocked by Lin Yi's craziness, but Lin Yi was doing this for her. Tang Yun felt sweet inside. As long as she was with Lin Yi, he would protect her no matter what happened. However, although Tang Yun hated Zhou Ruoming, she couldn't beat him to death. She didn't want Lin Yi to go to jail because of this. She quickly stopped Lin Yi. He won't die. He's far from death. At most, he'll become an idiot, but it'll save him medicine. He won't have to spend money on stupid pills every day. He'll just become an idiot. Lin Yi smiled. No, I don't want to become an idiot. Lin Yi, boss, let me go. Zhou Ruoming was about to cry. He'd rather die than become an idiot. Scram, Lin Yi said faintly. Yes, I'll scram now. Zhou Ruoming didn't dare to get up and run. Who knew if Lin Yi would use this as an excuse? In order to make sure that Lin Yi couldn't find anything wrong with him, Zhou Ruoming really started rolling on the ground. Tang Yun couldn't help but laugh at Zhou Ruoming's behavior. She didn't approve of Lin Yi using violence, but she had to admit that today was very satisfying. She got her revenge. If it weren't for Lin Yi, she'd still have to endure Zhou Ruoming's teasing every day. Who knew if she'd fall into his trap one day? Lin Yi looked at Uncle Yin on the ground and took out his phone to call Lingshan. Lingshan had just sent Zhou Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang to the traffic police station. They didn't seem to have committed any crimes, but it was just a traffic violation. Lingshan didn't have the authority to do anything about it, so she handed them over. Her phone rang as soon as she got back to her office. She frowned when she saw the name Lin Yi. Did Lin Yi cause trouble again? Lingshan didn't believe that Lin Yi could find a way to cure Boijia so quickly. The only possibility was that he was looking for her. She rubbed her throbbing temples and picked up the phone helplessly. Lin Yi, what's up? I got ambushed when I came out of the police station. I've subdued him already. Come and take him away, Lin Yi said. What? You got ambushed? Who? Lingshan paused. Zhou Tiandi sent me, I think. Lin Yi said faintly. Hurry up. Follow the road in front of the police station and you'll see me. With that, Lin Yi hung up, pissing Lingshan off. Was he ordering her around? How dare you order me? Lingshan was pissed, but she couldn't refuse. She got up and went downstairs, driving to find Lin. Isn't that an old man? Did Zhou Tianyi send him? You didn't hit him with your car, did you? Lingshan was very suspicious that Lin had accidentally hit someone and blamed it on Tianyi, saying that the old man was one of Tianyi's men. He can stop you? Golden class early phase. Lin shrugged. Can you be any more retarded? Golden class early phase. Lingshan's mouth was wide open. She looked at the old man's face, and her face changed. A wanted criminal. The man in front of her was a wanted criminal. As the captain of the criminal police, Lingshan would often look at pictures of wanted criminals. It didn't take long for her to recognize this old man in front of her. Yin Qiyuan, wanted for murder and robbery. He'd been wanted for more than 2 years, and now he was here. He's a wanted criminal, right? Lin guessed from Lingshan's expression. That's right. Lingshan nodded, a flash of joy in her eyes. This Lin was lucky enough to catch a wanted criminal. This Yin Qiyuan was indeed a golden class early phase, but from the looks of it, he'd been crippled by Lin Yi. He was about the same as He Bao. Lin patted Qiyuan's body, waking him up. Qiyuan's face was still filled with pain and sorrow. He was a golden class early phase, and he'd been crippled just like that? How could there be such a powerful figure in the secular world now? Looking at Lin Yi's age, he was only 20, right? Crack. Lingshan took out her handcuffs and cuffed Qiyuan. She didn't feel any danger, but Qiyuan was still a golden class early phase. Lingshan didn't dare treat him lightly. All right, I'm leaving. Lin Yi saw that he had nothing else to do and prepared to leave with Tang Yin. Wait, come back with me to make a statement. Lingshan called out to Lin Yi. Can't you just say you caught him yourself? It's not the first time something like this happened. Lin Yi naturally didn't want to go back with Lingshan. But the criminal's statement. Lingshan thought to herself, if she said she caught him, what if Qiyuan said something? Chapter 423. Chapter 423. What to do, Lingshan paused as she looked at Lin Yi, stunned. She was a golden class master herself, and had guessed that Lin Yi was a golden class master as well, but she'd never seen something like Lin Yi's miraculous skill before. 2 random pats, and this guy turned into a mute? Uncle Yin didn't believe it as well. He'd never seen Lin Yi do something like this. Could it be acupuncture? That wasn't possible. He was a Wuling practitioner, and he'd never heard of anyone who knew how to use acupuncture. That was something that only existed in novels and dramas. It didn't exist in real life. He didn't believe Lin Yi's words, and was just about to say something to prove that he wasn't a mute when he realized that he couldn't speak. Lingshan didn't know what to say as she looked at the Yin Qiyuan. It seemed like Lin Yi had really turned this guy into a mute. It was too scary. A few random pats, and he turned into a mute? Oh, right, he can still write. Maybe I should turn him into an idiot? Lin Yi suddenly thought of that. Ugh. Yin Qiyuan shook his head furiously after hearing Lin Yi's words. Was this a joke? Turn himself into an idiot? What was the point of living then? He still had to pass the news to his family. And as for who'd caught him, he didn't have the heart to tell the police. He was going to die anyway, and talking about it was just a waste of breath. See, he said he wouldn't talk. All right, that's all. I'm leaving. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't want to turn Yin Qiyuan into an idiot in front of Lingshan. He shrugged and pulled Tang Yin into the car. Lingshan looked at Lin Yi with a complicated gaze before getting into the police car with Qiyuan, heading back to the police station. Lingshan brought Yin Qiyuan into the police station just in time to see Zhou Tianyi and his son walking out of the station after receiving their punishment. Tianyi looked at Yin Qiyuan, who Lingshan was holding, and jumped in fright. A flash of shock and fear appeared in his eyes. How did Uncle Yin get captured by Lingshan? Didn't he ask Zhou Ruoming to lead him to intercept Lin Yi? Why, Mr. Zhou, do you know this murderer and robber? Lingshan looked at the shocked Tianyi. Naturally, she knew that Yin Qiyuan was Tianyi's doing, but Tianyi wouldn't admit to something like this without evidence. No, I don't know him. Tianyi shook his head and dragged Zhou Ruoguang away. He didn't dare to have anything to do with a murderer, even though they were clearly related. Ling Shan smiled coldly as she watched Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang leave. She turned around and bumped into Lu Wangli. "Captain Song, you arrested someone? He's so old, what did he do?" Wangli asked as he looked at the criminal in Ling Shan's hands. "Yin Chiyuan. He's a fugitive for robbery and murder," Ling Shan said faintly to Lu Wangli. "I'll leave him to you. Captain Song, you brought Yin Chiyuan back?" Wang Li's eyes were wide as he looked at Ling Shan in awe. Ling Shan had been solving many big cases recently, and her position in the police and criminal police had skyrocketed. She was now a qualified successor to Huaijuan. The voices that said that Ling Shan only knew how to charge and not solve cases were all gone now. It seemed that everyone approved of Ling Shan. Lu Wangli didn't like it when his superior was being talked about, and now they were all praising him. Lu Wangli was amazing, and now that Ling Shan had brought back a fugitive, Lu Wangli felt even more proud. Ling Shan, on the other hand, felt conflicted. Just what was her relationship with Linny? Was it a partnership or an enemy? She really couldn't tell. Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang went back to the car, and Tiandi clutched his chest in shock. "Ruoguang, am I seeing things? Isn't that Uncle Yin?" "It's Uncle Yin." Zhou Ruoguang nodded. "How did Ling Shan get him? Isn't he an early phase golden class?" "I don't know. Let's call Ruoming first." Tiandi was desperate to find out the truth. "Hello, Ruoming? What happened to you? How did the police get Uncle Yin?" Tiandi called Zhou Ruoming, firing off a barrage of questions before Zhou Ruoming could say anything. "Dad's big." Zhou Ruoming was scared out of his wits as well, hiding at home. He didn't even dare go to school. "That kid's called Lin Yi. He's from our school. He's a master. He knocked Uncle Yin out with one slap and knocked him out with a few kicks." "What? That guy's that strong?" Tiandi was shocked when he heard Zhou Ruoming's words. What shocked him the most was that Zhou Ruoming knew Lin Yi. "He's the tyrant of our school. No one dares mess with him now." Zhou Ruoming sounded like he was on the verge of tears. "He didn't like me from the start, and I brought Uncle Yin to cause trouble for him today. You've really got me killed. Dad, I don't even dare go to school anymore." Tiandi's face paled instantly. He knew how strong Uncle Yin was, and how strong did someone have to be to take him down so easily. How did he end up messing with someone like that? Tiandi was scared just thinking about it. If Lin Yi really wanted to kill him, it'd be as easy as killing an ant. He'd even had a fight over a hospital room with him last time. He couldn't even imagine the consequences. Tiandi wasn't the one with the worst expression on his face, but Zhou Ruoguang. He'd heard what Tiandi said through the phone, and he was even more scared than Tiandi. "Dad, I told you we couldn't mess with this guy, and you just had to do it. Now we're done for. He can kill us like a toy. What are we going to do in the future? You even told me to go teach him a lesson last time. It's a good thing I didn't go, or you'd be burning joss paper for me right now." "All right, Ruoguang, don't be scared. Lin Yi is strong, but he didn't do anything to us, did he? He kept Uncle Yin and let Ruoming go, which means he doesn't want to bother with normal people like us. We just don't mess with him in the future and find a way to give him a red envelope. We'll have a feast to apologize to him. I don't think he'll hold it against us, will he?" Tiandi was a smart man, and he immediately analyzed the situation. "I guess that's the only way." Zhou Ruoguang nodded. "I was possessed last time, and I even wanted to flirt with the girl next to him. Man, I'm scared just thinking about it. Yeah, I remember what he looks like this time, and I even took a picture of it and saved it in my phone. We'll avoid him when we see him in the future, and if we can't avoid him, we'll be more respectful. They say you don't hit someone who's smiling at you, so we'll just suck up to him a little. He's a master. I don't think he'll hold it against us, right?" Chapter 424. Xiao Xiao wants revenge. Xiao Xiao hadn't thought of a way to deal with Lin Yi yet, but she was a little embarrassed to face Lin Yi. She'd been drenched by him at noon, and Xiao Xiao was quite embarrassed. She'd never been in such an awkward situation in her life, and now she'd fallen into Lin Yi's hands. What surprised Xiao Xiao was that she didn't see Lin Yi when she returned to the classroom. She let out a breath of relief. "Hey, pretty girl, you know my boss?" Kong Xiaobo turned around, curious about Xiao Xiao's identity. It was obvious that she was here for Lin Yi, but he didn't want to ask Lin Yi. Now that Lin Yi wasn't in the classroom, he could ask Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi's your boss? Xiao Xiao wanted to find someone familiar with Lin Yi to get to know Lin Yi better. Yeah, I'm his follower, Kong Xiaobo said proudly, as if being Lin Yi's follower was something to be proud of. Oh, Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes and said to Kong Xiaobo, I'll tell you something in secret. Don't tell anyone, including your boss, Lin Yi. Xiaobo hesitated. He wanted to hear what Xiao Xiao was talking about, but he didn't want to hide it from Lin Yi. It wasn't a good idea. I won't tell you if you don't agree. Xiao Xiao saw Kong Xiaobo's hesitation and threw out a more important chip. It's about me coming to find your boss. As expected, Kong Xiaobo was interested, scratching his ears and cheeks as he hesitated. Then tell me I won't tell my boss. Please don't tell me, or I'll be really embarrassed. Xiao Xiao looked at Kong Xiaobo, putting on a pitiful look. Don't worry, I'm a man of my word. I promise I won't tell the boss. Kong Xiaobo patted his chest and promised. But Kong Xiaobo wasn't an idiot. He promised not to tell Lin Yi, but he didn't promise not to tell Tang Yin. He'd just tell Tang Yin, and Tang Yin would tell Lin Yi, and it wouldn't have anything to do with him. Actually, I like Lin Yi. I transferred here because of him. Xiao Xiao whispered to Kong Xiaobo, blushing. Huh? Kong Xiaobo's eyes widened. You have a crush on my boss? And Xiao Xiao nodded. Don't tell anyone. Don't worry, I promised. Kong Xiaobo was in a difficult position now. This wasn't something he could tell Tang Yun. It'd be gossip. Hey, can you tell me about Lin Yi? I want to know more about him. As far as Xiao Xiao was concerned, Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang's information were all indirect. Only someone like Kong Xiaobo, who interacted with Lin Yi all the time, could be trusted. But, my boss has a girlfriend already. Your chances are really slim. Kong Xiaobo sighed. His boss was really lucky. All the girls who like him were so pretty. It's okay, I don't care. I don't care about the title. I just want to be by his side quietly. I won't fight for anything. Xiao Xiao shook her head and said pitifully. Kong Xiaobo froze. There were girls like this in this day and age. Xiao Xiao wasn't bad at all. She could get any boyfriend she wanted, but she didn't care about the status and wanted to be with Lin Yi. His boss was outstanding, but Xiaobo was still very envious. He felt pity for Xiao Xiao. So what you're saying is that you want to be by his side quietly, only giving and not taking? And Xiao Xiao nodded. Boss is here. We'll talk next time. Kong Xiaobo raised his head to see Lin Yi enter the classroom. He quickly shut his mouth. Lin Yi drove Tang Yin back to school. There wasn't any traffic on the way, but they were still a little late, only entering the school after the first afternoon class. What surprised him in the afternoon class was that Xiao Xiao, who'd changed her clothes, seemed to have forgotten about what happened in the washroom at lunchtime. She didn't bother him at all, didn't even bring it up. What surprised Lin Yi even more was that the entire afternoon was quiet. Xiao Xiao didn't say anything to him. What surprised Lin Yi was that Kong Xiaobo was looking at him in a weird way. It wasn't that Xiao Xiao didn't want to say anything, but she hadn't found a way to deal with Lin Yi yet. She didn't want to let Lin Yi go so easily. Getting drenched in Lin Yi's piss was the biggest humiliation she'd ever experienced in her life. She'd never been so humiliated. But Xiao Xiao couldn't find a way to teach Lin Yi a lesson right now. On one hand, she wanted Lin Yi to teach her how to drive, so she couldn't offend Lin Yi too much. For example, that stupid suggestion from Zhou Ruoming was something she couldn't accept. If she did anything to Tang Yun, then Lin Yi would become her mortal enemy, and that would ruin her original goal. It would be best if she could teach Lin Yi a lesson, but it wouldn't be too much of a loss. Just a little humiliation, just like how she did in the afternoon. When school was about to end, the homeroom teacher Lu came to the classroom and walked up to the podium. Everyone, quiet down. I have something to say. Tomorrow, our graduating class is going to have a tree planting event. There's an empty space behind the school, and it's where all the graduating students plant trees. We're about to graduate, and we'll be going our separate ways. In order to leave a memory for our old school, everyone can plant trees on this empty space. A few years later, when you return to your old school, it'll have a special meaning. Teacher Lu's words drew a round of applause from all the students present. The dull and boring life of a senior high student was filled with repetitive reading, questions, and tests. Now that there was such an activity, everyone naturally raised their hands to welcome it. There's no limit to the types of saplings. They're sold at the flower, bird, and fish market not far from the school. You can get them for a few, quite to a few hundred, depending on your financial ability. If you're really poor, you could donate a few quai sapling from the class allowance, Teacher Lu said. Although there weren't any poor students in his class, he still had to say it according to tradition. Everyone expressed their support. Before graduation, most students wanted to leave a memory for their old school. After all, they were about to leave. Returning to their old school after a few years and seeing the sapling they planted with their own hands grow up was a different feeling. Chapter 425. Chapter 425. Shark Hunting Opportunity? What's so good about planting trees? Pin Liang didn't quite understand what Xiaofu was getting at. Liang bro, think about it. You can make a tree and decorate it with Mingyao's name. Mingyao definitely like it when she sees it. All girls like these. Gao Xiaofu said, look at the return of the Condor heroes. On Guixiang's birthday, Yangwu gave her a firework. As a result, she was so happy that she even pledged her life to him. Gave herself to him? Why did I think Guixiang became a nun? Pin Liang blinked. Ugh, then she became a nun. I don't remember. Maybe I was looking at the Jinshi. Xiaofu said, a little embarrassed. I think that being a nun is for love. Anyway, it'll definitely work. You're saying that I should light a firework too? Pin Liang asked. Yeah, Liang bro, haven't you heard of the Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club? We'll give Mingyao a Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club. Xiaofu said. All right, it's settled then. I'll go buy a sapling. Pin Liang thought that it was a good idea. It was much easier than writing a letter of blood. At least he wouldn't have to hurt himself with the Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club. This sapling needs to be special too. It can't be the same as the others. If it's the same, then we won't be able to show how special we are. Xiaofu said. All right, I'll do some research and get an imported sapling. Pin Liang was very excited. Xiaofu had finally come up with a good idea. Liang bro, should we tell Xiao Lil Sis about this? She's the big sis of our class now, after all. We should at least tell her about this big thing we're doing, right? Xiaofu reminded. That's right. We should tell her about this in case Xiao Lil Sis has some plans against Lenny. It'd be bad if there were any conflicts. After school, Pin Liang invited Xiao to a corner of the school field, preparing to tell her about what Xiaofu had told him. Xiao patiently listened to Xiaofu's explanation. She wasn't interested in whether or not Pin Liang was going after Meng Yao. Her target was Lin Yi. That's it? What does that have to do with me? Xiao frowned. I thought you guys thought of a way to humiliate Lin. Humiliating Lin Yi. Little sister Xiao, didn't you want to teach him a lesson? Why are you humiliating him again? Pin Liang paused. He thought that Xiao and Lin Yi had some sort of deep grudge, but it didn't seem like it. Why do you care what I want to do? Xiao humphed. I've embarrassed myself to death today, so I'm going to embarrass him. If that's the case, I have an idea. Gao Xiaofu's eyes lit up. What plan? Xiao looked at this useless advisor, not sure what he could say. Aren't we going to create a fireworks silver flower never sleeps? There'll be fireworks and firecrackers, and we'll give you a string of firecrackers, and you secretly hang them on Lin Yi's butt. Light it up, and Lin Yi's butt. Haha, he'll be as humiliated as you can imagine. Xiaofu wasn't good at other things, but he could come up with some dirty tricks. Oh, Xiao started thinking about the feasibility of this plan. If done correctly, it was a good idea. Secretly hang the firecrackers on Lin Yi's back without him noticing, and when Pin Liang lit up the fireworks, they'd secretly light the firecrackers on Lin Yi's back, pretending that it was an accident. Even if Lin Yi wanted revenge, he wouldn't be able to find any evidence, would he? Little sister Xiao, I think Xiaofu's idea isn't bad. Pin Liang, naturally, hated Lin Yi to the bone, and so he encouraged Xiao to do it the moment he heard that it could humiliate Lin Yi. Well, I'll think about it. Xiao wasn't as confident as Pin Liang was. She needed to study the possibilities of this plan. Yao Yao, are we going to plant trees tomorrow? Yushu was looking forward to this event. In fact, she was looking forward to anything new and interesting. Of course, we're going a few years later when we've all graduated, gotten married, and had kids. We'll bring them to visit our alma mater. We'll tell them that this is where their mom went to. It should be very educational. Meng Yao nodded seriously. Oh, then will our kids have the same dad? Yushu asked. Shu. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. She really wanted to crack open her best friend's skull and see what was inside. How could Yushu turn something as serious as this into a farce just like that? Yushu blinked. Open your mouth, Meng Yao ordered. No, never. Yushu shook her head. Why? Meng Yao paused. Yushu had always been an obedient girl. You pulled my tongue out, it hurts. Yushu said, you know it hurts, and you're still talking nonsense? Meng Yao humphed. Then I won't talk about it next time. Yushu promised. You always say next time, next time, next time. How many times will there be next time? Meng Yao didn't believe Yushu at all. Yao Yao, the original meaning of this sentence is tomorrow after tomorrow. How many times will there be tomorrow? Yushu said, oh, then tomorrow it is. It's more or less the same. Who cares about tomorrow? Shu, you're changing the topic again. Meng Yao was speechless. Yushu had almost gotten away with it again. Yushu stuck her tongue out. Let's not talk about it for so long. We haven't gotten the saplings yet. Let's go buy some. All right. Meng Yao forgave Yushu for now. She had to learn to be tolerant with a best friend like this. Take a step back. Otherwise, she'd die of anger 10 times a day. Go get Lin, and tell him to drive with us. We can't fit the saplings in the car. Okay. Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Yushu called Lin, at the top of her lungs. Lin had gone back to her room after seeing Yushu and Meng Yao bickering. She was already used to the two's behavior, so she wasn't surprised at all. Lin heard Yushu's call and walked out of the room. What is it? Chill, bro. I want to eat shark meat again. Yushu said. Meng Yao almost fell off the sofa. Didn't she ask him to go buy saplings? Why was the shark meat involved again? Oh, they don't sell on the market. Why don't you go catch one yourself? Lin was speechless. Shark meat wasn't that tasty. Why did this Miss Chen like it? Chapter 426. Chapter 426. Tree shopping. Shu. Aren't we going out to buy saplings? Meng Yao said through gritted teeth, holding back the urge to faint. Right? Then let's buy saplings first. Yushu nodded. Lin, we're going out to buy saplings and the car's pretty big. Should we go in your car? Meng Yao didn't let Yushu do it for her this time. She didn't really want to talk to Lin, but she didn't know what to say after Lin got into trouble with Xiao Xiao today. She was a little embarrassed. She was the one who'd caused all this trouble, and yet she'd asked Shu to text Lin and ask if he was messing around. All right. Lin nodded. How could he say no to the miss? Lin asked, are we leaving now? Yeah, we're leaving now. Meng Yao stood up and pulled Yushu along, getting ready to leave with Lin Yi. It was the first time the Miss and Miss Chun had been in Lin Yi's broken car, and they couldn't help but gasp at how broken it was. Chill, bro. This car of yours, it can still be driven? Yushu couldn't understand how a car like this could still move, and it was moving pretty fast too. You know now whether it can drive or not, right? Lin smiled. A follower like me would be lucky to have a broken car to drive. Oh, I'll give you my car then. I don't like driving anyway. Yushu said seriously. Meng Yao felt a little embarrassed. Lin was her follower, and he didn't even have a car. Who knew what junkyard he'd gotten it from? She coughed. Lin, I'll tell Faubert to buy you a business car tomorrow. It's fine. I'm pretty used to it. Lin wasn't expecting the miss to be this sensitive. He just said it casually, and she wanted to buy him a car. Oh, Meng Yao, naturally, wouldn't try to convince Lin otherwise. That Xiao Xiao didn't do anything to you today, did she? Man, why not? She took a photo of me going to the toilet to blackmail me, but I thought it was Zhong Pingliang, so I pissed her all over. That a big grudge. Lin didn't try to hide it. This was all because of him going out with the miss, so Meng Yao couldn't blame it on him if anything happened to Xiao Xiao in the future. You thought she was Zhong Pingliang and pissed her all? Meng Yao's eyes widened. She and Shu had gone to check the toilet when it rained last time, and the thought of Pin Liang's pitiful face was hilarious. But how embarrassing would it be if it were a girl? Meng Yao's eyes were wide open. She'd gone to the toilet with Shu last time when it rained, and thinking about Zhong Pingliang's pitiful state was quite funny. But how embarrassing would it be if it were a girl? Meng Yao could imagine that if it were her, she'd probably want to die. There was no way Xiao Xiao would just let it go. Lin, he didn't mind. Let her be. She'll leave when she's tired of revenge. She's just a little girl. Lenny didn't really care. Let her be. She'll leave when she's tired of revenge. She's just a little girl. I'm really sorry. I didn't think she'd go after you, Meng Yao said apologetically. Maybe I'll talk to her tomorrow. Tell her that it wasn't your fault. Meng Yao's face was a little red as she humphed. I'm a person who knows what's good and bad for me. Don't think that just because I spoke up for you, it means that I'll treat you well. I'm telling you, I actually still really hate you. Meng Yao blurted out in a panic, but regretted it immediately after. Did she really still hate Lin? It didn't seem like it anymore. Lin smiled. I know, but Xiao Xiao can't do anything to me. Don't go after her, in case the class finds out about our relationship. Meng Yao gritted her teeth at Lin. In case the class finds out about our relationship? So if they find out, what's there to be afraid of if I'm not even scared? What's the meaning of this? But Meng Yao understood that Lin was saying this because he didn't want to put her in a difficult position, not because of himself. But Meng Yao was still angry. Any other boy would be more than happy to have a relationship with her. But why didn't this Lin realize that at all? Could it be that he was so weak? Meng Yao didn't say anything, and the atmosphere in the car got a little heavy. Luckily, Yushu was there. Shield bro, do you think there'd be sharks in the flowerbird fish market? Meng Yao really wanted to slap Yushu to death. Shu, do you think people would buy a shark to raise at home? Aren't they afraid of getting eaten by sharks? There are. Yushu nodded. For example, suicidal people. All right, you win. Meng Yao slapped her forehead. Lin parked the car in front of the fish market and brought Meng Yao and Yushu inside. Follow closely, it's a messy place. There might be pickpockets. Oh. Yushu quickened her steps before slowing down again. I didn't bring any money. Shu, are you serious? You're not joking? Meng Yao's face changed upon hearing Yushu's words. No, Yao Yao, you know that I like to put my wallet in my bag. Yushu said, look at my dress, where's my wallet? I didn't bring any either. Meng Yao frowned. Lin, did you bring any money? Ah, I did. Lin, he said to himself. No wonder Faubert gave him a credit card. These two girls didn't bring any money when they went out. Then, I'll lend it to you. Meng Yao breathed out in relief. It'd be a wasted trip if he didn't bring any money. Wow. Yao Yao, look, there really are saplings for sale here. There's so many different types. Yushu was dazzled as she walked in. Yao Yao, what should we plant tomorrow? Meng Yao shook her head. She wasn't an expert in plants, so she didn't know what to buy. Yao Yao, look over there. That tree looks special. Why does it need in drip? Yushu pointed at a few saplings not far away. I don't know. Maybe it's sick. Meng Yao said. Ah, it's nutrient fluids. Some imported saplings need to be injected with nutrient fluids because of the difference in environment, or they won't survive. Lin, he explained with a smile. Some high-class parks have these kinds of trees. This one looks interesting. Yao Yao, maybe we should buy this? Yushu found the 4 tree quite interesting. Chapter 427. Chapter 427. Phone robbery, you're right. I can't do it every day. Yushu said as she stuck her tongue out. Can't you stop doing stupid things like that? Meng Yao said helplessly. All right, Yao Yao, what kind of tree do you think we should buy? Yushu asked timidly as she shrunk her head back. Something a little prettier, something a little more normal? Meng Yao didn't understand stuff like that. How about a fruit tree? Ah, why did you bump into me? A young man bumped into Meng Yao, causing her to stumble and almost fall to the ground. The young man quickly apologized. I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I was in a hurry to move the goods. Oh, it's nothing. Meng Yao frowned, deciding not to argue with the guy since he said it wasn't intentional. Wait, the guy was about to leave when Lin Yi pulled him back. What are you doing? The guy's eyes flashed with wariness, and Meng Yao looked at Lin Yi, not quite sure what was going on. She'd already let it go, so why was Lin Yi holding a grudge now? Take out your phone, Lin Yi said faintly. Phone? What phone? The guy was clearly panicking, but he started yelling all of a sudden. It's a robbery. Someone's trying to steal my phone. Someone come quickly. The guy's yelling attracted the attention of the people around them, and they all came over to watch the commotion. What's going on? A couple of security guards walked over to the guy. He's trying to rob me, and he asked for my phone. The guy said innocently, yeah, I can prove it. This guy doesn't know what's right or wrong. He's asking for his phone. Someone in the crowd interrupted all of a sudden. Oh, if that's the case, follow me to the security room then. The leader of the security guards said as he looked at Lin Yi, his eyes lingering on Meng Yao and Yushu behind him, a perverted look in his eyes. Lin Yi, what's going on? Meng Yao was getting a little pissed off. They were here to buy saplings. What was Lin Yi doing? Stopping a stranger and asking for his phone? Your phone was stolen by him. Lin Yi shrugged and looked at Mississippi. Ah, my phone? Meng Yao's face changed as she touched her pocket. The phone that was originally in his pocket had disappeared. You mean he stole my phone? Yes, why else would I stop him? Lin Yi nodded. Hey, don't fucking slander me. Who took your phone? The young man puffed out his chest and shouted confidently. If you say that I took your phone, then why don't you take a look? You turned off your phone long ago. Lin Yi glanced at him and said faintly. Lin Yi clearly saw through his little cleverness. All right, that's enough. Follow me to the security room, and we'll be able to tell who's right and who's wrong when we get there. The captain evidently didn't want Lin Yi to say anything more as he pushed him away. Lin Yi's eyes narrowed as he guessed what was going on. This security captain was in cahoots with the thief. You two wait for me in the car. Never mind, stay with me. Lin Yi wanted to let Meng Yao and Yushu wait in the car first, but thinking of the perverted look in the security captain's eyes, Lin Yi didn't feel at ease. It was better to let them stay with him. Zhou Ruoming only returned to school when it was almost time for school to end. He asked a few of his lackeys and was relieved to hear that Lin Yi didn't look for him or ask about him. It seemed like Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with him anymore. At first, Zhou Ruoming thought that Lin Yi didn't kill him because he didn't want to fall out with him, but today he truly understood that Lin Yi didn't care about him at all. If he wanted to kill him, he would have done it a long time ago. Just like Uncle Yin today. So what if he was a golden class master? Didn't he still get stepped on by Lin Yi? As long as he understood this, Zhou Ruoming wasn't afraid anymore. As long as he didn't offend Lin Yi in the future, there shouldn't be a problem. Ming bro, are we going to join the tree planting tomorrow? It was Zhou Ruoming's #1 lackey, Yin Lingxi. Of course. Zhou Ruoming was very proud when he heard about tree planting. Look at the forest behind school. There were at least 3 or 4 trees planted by Zhou Ruoming. 1 tree a year. He'd been in high school for 3 or 4 years now. Everyone else only had 1 tree, but Zhou Ruoming had several. Who could compete with him? Every time he planted a tree, Zhou Ruoming would be especially proud. As they spoke, Zhou Ruoming's phone rang again. It was his father, Zhou Tiandi. Tiandi was getting more and more scared the more he thought about it. He discussed it with Zhou Ruoguang and comforted himself for a while, but the more he thought about it, the more he felt uneasy. And so he decided to ask his youngest son, Zhou Ruoming, about what happened back then. He wanted to know what Lin Yi meant. It was easy to invite a god in, but hard to send him away. Offending a god like Lin Yi wasn't going to end well. Where are you right now? Tiandi asked. Dad, I'm at school. School just ended. What's up? Zhou Ruoming asked. Come on my company. I have something to ask you. I'll pick you up at school right now. Tiandi said. He didn't send a car to pick Zhou Ruoming up every day in order to make him study hard. He didn't think that this would give Zhou Ruoming even more freedom. No one would see him do bad things, and that made him even more reckless. I'm going to the Flowerbird Fish Market at home. Our school is starting to plant trees again tomorrow. I'll go look for a sapling. Zhou Ruoming said. Then wait for me at school. I'll be right there. Tiandi said. About 10 minutes later, Tierney drove the BMW that Lin Yi had destroyed to the school. The appearance of the car annoyed Tierney, but pissing off Lin Yi made him even more annoyed. Zhou Ruoming got in the car, and Tierney asked impatiently, "You know Lin Yi?" "Of course I do. He slapped me a couple of times at school. He's my biggest enemy." Zhou Ruoming nodded. "I had my eyes on his girl, but who knew he was that strong?" Tierney almost rolled his eyes at that. His whole family was Lin Yi's enemy, wasn't it? Tierney felt the urge to cry. Chapter 428. Chapter 428. Catching a couple of thieves. It was also because of this that Tierney had developed a temper. His son, Zhou Ruoguang, wouldn't be this cocky otherwise, even if he was the leader of the North District's gangsters. But today, he'd run into an iron plate like Lin Yi. His biggest support wasn't working. He's not just a match for him. Uncle Yin didn't even get to do anything, and Lin Yi sent him flying with one slap. That's an instant kill. Zhou Ruoming was terrified just thinking about it. It seemed that Lin Yi hadn't used his full strength when he'd slapped him. Otherwise, Uncle Yin would have been sent flying, and his own head would have been gone as well. Instant kill. Tierney's lips twitched. He'd thought that Uncle Yin had been defeated after he fought Lin Yi, but now it seemed that Lin Yi was far stronger than Faubert. "Ruoming, do you think we should buy some gifts and go visit Lin Yi and apologize?" Tierney asked after some thought. I don't know, but I don't think that's possible right now." Zhou Ruoming shook his head. "Lin Yi's pissed right now. Wouldn't it be suicide if we went? We'll go apologize after things calm down a bit. That should be fine, right?" "That's true." Tierney nodded. "I'll see if I can use my connections to visit Uncle Yin and get a feel for Lin Yi's true strength." "That works. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll win every battle." Zhou Ruoming made up an idiom. "Win every battle, my ass. Even if you know how strong he is, we won't be able to win. Unless we know someone stronger." Tierney cursed. "Just us? Don't even think about it for the rest of our lives." "Man, I guess it's the only way." Aside from the fear, Zhou Ruoming wasn't willing to give up. Being bullied and having to endure it made him very uncomfortable. Tierney parked the car in front of the market and got out with Zhou Ruoming. This market was opened by Zhou Tierney, and with Zhou Ruoguang's men watching over the place, there wouldn't be any problems. The yearly rent alone was tens of millions, and it was a profitable business. "Motherfucker, who parked their broken car in my exclusive parking space?" Tierney cursed with a frown. There weren't any signs of parking spaces in front of the entrance, but they'd still take up space when there were a lot of cars. However, there weren't many cars today, and this spot was occupied. Naturally, Tierney wasn't happy about it. This was his exclusive parking spot every time he came here. It's just a broken piece of bread. Get someone to ask which business owner used this cart to transport goods. They need to be cleaned up, right? Tell Ruoguang to find them some money tomorrow. Tierney was pissed, so he vented his anger elsewhere. Zhou Ruoming got off the car and looked in the direction of his father's scolding. He almost stumbled and fell to the ground. He recognized that Minnie wasn't that Lin Yi's car. "Dad, stop. Please stop. Look at the license plate." Zhou Ruoming quickly stopped his father from cursing, afraid that Lin Yi would hear him. "What's wrong with the license plate? What's so nice about a license plate?" Tierney didn't think much of it as he walked into the market with his big belly. "It's Lin Yi's car," Zhou Ruoming said. "Lin Yi's here at the market." "What?" Tierney jumped in fright upon hearing that it was Lin Yi's car. Thank goodness he hadn't asked the security guards to tow the car away. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Tierney broke out in a cold sweat as he turned to leave. "Ruoming, let's go. Let's not stay here." Zhou Ruoming hesitated. He hadn't gotten his sapling yet, and it wasn't a coincidence that he'd run into Lin Yi, was it? "Let's go to the office and come out after Lin Yi leaves." "That works too." Tierney nodded and walked into the market with Zhou Ruoming. The security guard at the entrance saw Tierney and called out loudly, "Mr. Zhou, don't make a sound. Don't shout." Tierney was about to explode. What was he shouting for? What if Lin Yi heard him? The security guard paused, not understanding what was going on. Could it be that Tiandi had brought some people with him to visit the market incognito? To check on the situation in the market? Thinking of this, the security guard felt that it was very possible, so he quickly nodded. Okay, I won't say any more. Tiandi and Zhou Ruoming slipped into the manager's office like ghosts. The manager of the market, CF Fenpian, had just received a report from his security captain, saying that they'd caught a rich guy and two pretty girls. They'd investigated their backgrounds, and all they did was drive an old van. They couldn't be powerful people, and so Fenpian prepared to go down and take advantage of them, stealing a phone. So he'd just take off his clothes and search them. Fenpian was more than willing to do that. Of course, he didn't dare do anything more than that, because he was afraid that something would go wrong. Searching a thief might be a bit overboard, but it wouldn't cause too much trouble. Fenpian was just getting excited when he raised his head to see Tiandi and Zhou Ruoming barging in. He jumped. Did they know what he'd done? But, according to Fenpian's understanding, Tiandi wasn't a good person either. He was a troublemaker for the young girls in the company, and this was what they meant when they said that a crooked stick would have a crooked shadow. Tiandi's family, Zhou Ruoguang and Zhou Ruoming, as well as his underlings, weren't good people. Fenpian was only acting so recklessly because of Zhou Ruoguang's indulgence. He was originally a gangster in the North District, and because Zhou Ruoguang thought highly of him, he became the manager of the market. Fenpian wasn't afraid anymore when he remembered that Tiandi was the same type of person. Mr. Zhou, you're here. I have something good I wanted Guang Bro to tell you. What is it? Tiandi paused. He wasn't feeling too good, and it'd make him feel better if he could rush it. The security department caught a couple of thieves, and there were some pretty girls among them. Mr. Zhou, do you want to search them? Fenpian said lecherously. Oh, did you get a background check? Tiandi paused and asked. This was his hobby, after all. If there really was no problem, then he'd use the thieves to vent his anger. No background. They came in a broken van that looked like it came from a junkyard. There's no way they have any background, Fenpian said. Chapter 429. Becoming an idiot. It's just a couple of thieves. What's wrong? Fenpian paused, not understanding why Tiandi was acting like this. A couple of thieves? A man and a woman? Zhou Ruoming was surprised as well. A man and two women. Fenpian said, a man and two women. Zhou Ruoming paused and looked at Tiandi, both sighing in relief. A man and two women, that should be fine. If it's Lin Yi, he should be with Tang Yun, not a man and two women. That scared the hell out of me. Tiandi patted his chest. I've been scared to the point of going crazy. That's right, I've been so paranoid all day. Zhou Ruoming was suddenly interested in the pretty girls Fenpian was talking about, but he didn't dare say it out loud in front of his father. He could only look at Tiandi with a twinkle in his eyes. Come, let's go together. Tiandi, naturally, knew what kind of person his son was. He was as lecherous as he was, and so Tiandi decided to go together with his son. Haha, let's go check it out then. Zhou Ruoming was overjoyed, but he put on a fearful expression. Fenpian thought to himself that he'd lost a great opportunity to get close to Lin Yi, but that wasn't a big deal. He could use this opportunity to please the boss and the young master. Pretty girls weren't hard to find, after all, and he could find a lot of them with money. Wouldn't his money be rolling in if he treated the father and son well? Lin Yi followed the security captain to the security room because he didn't want to make a move in the market. There were too many people there, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to use his powers. These guys had no choice but to resign themselves to fate in the security room. Bang! The security captain locked the door as soon as they entered the security room, pointing at Lin Yi like a brute. You guys, tell me, how did you steal this? Otherwise, I'll send you to the police station. It won't be as simple as it is now. Ah, you're with him. Lin Yi didn't think much of the barbarian's attitude as he looked at the captain. What are you talking about? He's the victim. Of course we have to uphold justice for him. The captain's face changed, but he still tried to argue. Ha, uphold justice? You think you're Ultraman or the leader of Wulin? Lin Yi smiled. Just tell me, what do you want? Meng Yao and Yushu, by now, understood that the security captain was in cahoots with the thief. But with Linny there, they weren't afraid of anything. Meng Yao and Yushu had been through life and death situations with Linny before, after all. This bit of danger was nothing compared to bank robbers and sharks. The two were even a little excited. They wanted to see it Lin. Don't even think about getting out after entering this door. Since you're not being honest, we'll beat you up first. The captain waved his hand at the other guards. Bring the girls into the room. Chairman Xia will search them later. This kid is not being honest, so beat him up first. Yes. Several security guards rubbed their fists and nodded in agreement. Isn't it against the law to beat people up here? Linny looked at the captain. In here, I'm the law. The captain pointed at Lin arrogantly. I'm not afraid to tell you that there are no cameras here. If you go out, no one will be able to prove that you were beaten up by us. We can just say that you fell down yourself. Ah, I see. That's what I was thinking. Lin nodded with a smile. What do you mean? Are you stupid? The captain blinked, not understanding what Linny meant. I'm not stupid, but you're about to be, Lin said as he patted the captain's head. What the hell are you talking about? He, ha, ho. The captain's eyes went blank all of a sudden as saliva dripped down from the corner of his mouth. He started laughing hysterically as he tried to catch the thief. 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 Shield bro, is he really stupid? Yushu cried out excitedly at the sight of the security captain turning into an idiot. This is fun. This is so fun. Shield bro, turn this guy into an idiot too. With that, Yushu pointed at the thief. Don't. The thief had seen Lin Yi's magic before, and he was scared out of his wits. He had never seen someone turn a person into an idiot with just 2 pats. He was a monster from the legends. This kid knows sorcery. Catch him. The other guards were scared as well. Who had ever seen someone turn a person into an idiot with just a few moves? But while there were people shouting for Linny, no one dared to step forward. They were all afraid of becoming Lin Yi's next target. Not only did no one step forward, but they were also backing away. Plop! The thief dropped to his knees when he saw Lin Yi walking over. Bro, master, ancestor, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have stolen the phone. I'll return it to you now. With that, the thief took out Ming Yao's phone and placed it on the ground, crying with snot and tears all over his face. I'm just a small fry up front. Guang bro told us to cooperate and steal things, to cheat the customers. Linny picked up the phone and handed it back to Meng Yao before the tears and snot dripped down. He then looked at the thief. Guang bro? What Guang bro? What does Guang bro do? Brother Guang is Zhou Guang, the boss of the North District. This flower, bird, and fish market is also owned by his family. The thief said whatever was on his mind. He was afraid of becoming an idiot, so he naturally did not dare to hide anything. Oh, Zhou Guang? Linny blinked, not expecting it to be Zhou Guang again. Now he was at loggerheads with his family. Call him. Tell him to come here in 10 minutes, or I'll tear this place down. All right, I'll make the call now. The thief was a little afraid of Zhou Guang, but he was more afraid of Lin Yi right now. Zhou Guang could only beat him half to death, but Lin Yi could make him wish he was dead. But just as Lin Yi was talking to the thief, a security guard standing not too far away suddenly went berserk. He held a sharp knife in his hand as he approached Meng Yao. He wanted to use Meng Yao as a hostage to force Lin Yi to leave. He didn't feel safe with Lin Yi standing there. Since Lin Yi had already turned one person into an idiot, a few more would make a difference. Chapter 430. Turn into a few more, man. I didn't want to create too much food-wasting trash. But you could have just stood there and waited for Zhou Guang to come, and everything would have been fine. Why bother? Linny looked at the guard sympathetically. Oh, a new idiot is born. Yushu waved her fist. Shield bro, turn into a few more? 2 is too few. The other guards and thieves sweated as they listened. Why was this girl so cruel? Did she like seeing people turn into idiots? Gotcha. The door opened with a creak, and CF Fenpian's eyes lit up when he saw Meng Yao and Yushu in the room. Such a beautiful girl. It's really a waste. If only Zhou Tianyi hadn't come today. Hee hee. Ha. Ha ha. Catch the thief. The security captain grabbed at Fenpian like a maniac, drooling from the inside. What are you doing? Fenpian jumped. Have you never seen a woman before? Even if these two girls are pretty, you don't have to be this infatuated, do you? You're drooling. Don't you think that's disgusting? Mr. Zhou's here. Stand properly. Fenpian was pissed off. The security captain wasn't usually like this. What was wrong with him today? He had to make a fool out of himself in front of Tiandi, wasn't he? Mr. Zhou? Zhou Ruowang's here? Lin Yi looked at Fenpian. Fenpian evidently hadn't figured out what was going on in the room yet. Not knowing that Lin Yi had the upper hand. You know Guangbro? That's no use. It's Guangbro's father who came today. If you know what's good for you, you'd better shut up, or else. Ha ha. Slap. Fenpian didn't even get to finish before Lin Yi slapped him in the face. His ears started to bleed, and he fell to the ground, unconscious. Lin Yi was losing his patience. These Zhous didn't know what death was like, did they? Why were there so many idiots being sent to him one after another? Zhou Qiandi and Zhou Ruoming were dumbfounded when they heard the slaps and screams, especially when they heard Lin Yi's voice. The two of them stood at the door of the security room, not knowing whether to go in or not. They didn't know what to do. But even if they didn't come in, Lin Yi could still see them. He smiled coldly. Zhou Qiandi, Zhou Ruoming, come in. Tiandi and Zhou Ruoming looked at each other and forced themselves to walk into the security room. They wanted to kill the security captain right now. Of all the people he shouldn't mess with, why did he have to mess with Lin Yi? But wasn't Lin Yi with Tang Yin? Zhou Ruoming, however, saw Meng Yao and Yushu. I say, Zhou Tiandi, haven't you had enough of going against me? Lin Yi knew that today's incident had nothing to do with Tiandi, but if Tiandi still wanted to use these small security guards after losing a golden class master, then he'd have to be an idiot. So, it could only be said that it was a coincidence. Still, Lin Yi was quite annoyed. Why did Tiandi's family always have to make things difficult for him? No, Boss Lin, you've misunderstood. Tiandi's face paled. Boss Lin, that wasn't what I meant. I didn't know. Right? It was that CF Fenpian. He was the one who said he caught a couple of thieves for me to take a look at, right, Ruoming? Lin Yi nodded. Yes. Zhou Ruoming was scared out of his wits as he nodded. We didn't come to flirt with pretty girls. Tiandi almost exploded at his son's words. Wasn't this just showing that he wasn't hiding something? He really wanted to send him flying with a kick. You idiot, what are you talking about? We're here to handle a theft case, and we're here to make sure it's fair and just. Yes. Boss Lin, this really has nothing to do with us. Ruoming quickly corrected himself. Boss Lin, this really has nothing to do with us. All right, I don't have time to waste with you guys. Load the 3 saplings, and you two can leave. But don't mess with me next time, or I'll burn your house down. Lin Yi waved his hand impatiently. That's it for today. If you want to tell others, then do what you want, Zhou Ruoming paused. How could he just tell others? Wouldn't he be crazy if he told others about something like this? But he understood what Lin Yi was getting at. He was probably talking about seeing him with Meng Yao and Yushu. But what did Lin Yi have to do with Meng Yao and Yushu? They didn't say anything about that at school, did they? As confused as he was, Zhou Ruoming didn't dare ask. He and his father quickly went out to get the saplings after Lin Yi asked for them. Give me 3 saplings. Tiandi found a shop that sold saplings and asked the owner. How much? The shop owner saw that it was a big shop from the market asking for saplings. Why would he take money? He quickly brought the saplings over with a smile. Why do you need money? It's not that much. Just bring it over if you want to use it. I'll give you the money. Here's 100 kwai. Is that enough? Tiandi took out 100 kwai from his wallet and handed it to the owner. I don't need that much. The saplings are cheap, just a few kwai each. The owner quickly waved his hand. Tiandi didn't have the time to waste with him. He threw the money down and grabbed the saplings before walking out. I'll get a worker to carry it for you. The owner asked kindly, seeing that Tiandi was doing it himself. It's fine. Tiandi refused decisively. He had to carry the saplings himself, to show his sincerity. Well, he got a worker, and Lin picked on him again. Plus, the saplings weren't heavy at all. He put the saplings in the car and carefully stood beside it, smiling. Boss Lin, is there anything else you need? Nope. Right? I turned 2 of your security guards into idiots. Is that okay? Lin looked at Tiandi. They won't ask me for medical fees, will they? No, they won't, don't worry. Tiandi jumped. Turning people into idiots? What kind of technique was that? No wonder that security captain was acting so strangely. He thought he was a love-struck fool, but it turned out that he was an idiot. They fell and became idiots themselves. Will compensate them according to the standard for work-related injuries. Chapter 431. Chapter 431. Breakthrough Miao wasn't in the mood for Zhou Ruoming's family, and she'd been silent since she got in the car. Yushu, on the other hand, didn't seem to be affected. She'll bro, why willow trees? Isn't it better if we plant fruit trees? We can eat the fruits when they're ripe. Shu, didn't he say that he wouldn't ask such a stupid question? We'll be graduating by next year by then. Meng Yao reminded. Oh, then why willow trees? Yushu nodded. That I don't know. Linny, why? Meng Yao asked. Haven't you guys heard of this saying? It's called planting a flower with the intention doesn't bloom, but planting a willow without the intention grows a shade. Lin smiled. Willow trees are easier to grow, and it doesn't take much effort to take care of them. I see. Yushu nodded. Dr. Kang's villa. Grandpa, according to the lab's analysis, there are different types of dog poop. Different breeds of dog poop make different poop, so I suspect that not every type of dog poop can be used as a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Xiaolong said. Oh, that's a big discovery. Dr. Kong said, taking Xiaolong's words very seriously. No wonder the effects of dog poop haven't been discovered yet. Different dogs make different poop. Good job, Xiaolong. Have you figured out what kind of dog shit this is? We compared and sampled thousands of dog poop samples and consulted many dog experts. We came to the conclusion that this poop is most likely from a German Shepherd. Xiaolong said, Oh, no wonder. I heard that this dog's value is second only to the Tibetan Mastiff. It's very rare and expensive. Miracle Dr. Kong nodded. All right, hurry up and give me one of these dogs. Let them poop and compare it, then report the results to me. All right, Grandpa. I've already sent someone to buy one, so we should have news soon. Xiaolong said, By the way, when are you going to the Xiao family in Yinjing to propose marriage? Dr. Kong asked. Xiaolong's heart skipped a beat. That girl was quite pretty, and it wouldn't be hard to marry her. Even if the Xiao family wasn't that powerful right now, she could still be a stepping stone for House Kong. When House Kong grew stronger, he'd replace her and find a bigger family. But that was what he'd thought in the past. Xiaolong, who was about to figure out the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, was full of confidence. He didn't really think much of Xinyan. Grandpa, I think the most important thing right now is to figure out what kind of dog poop the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made from. That's the most important thing for our family right now. As for the marriage, I think we can postpone it for a while. If we really manage to figure out the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, our House King's position will skyrocket, and we might not have to marry into the Xiao family anymore. Xiaolong said. You're right. I didn't think it through before. Dr. Kong nodded in agreement after hearing Xiaolong's analysis. I've always thought of our family as a weak family, but if we have the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, things will be different. Golden creation is just a medicine for injuries. It can heal wounds, but it's only popular among women. It's a luxury item for the upper class. But the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is different. It can save lives. Yeah, once we succeed, we won't be a small family anymore. All the other families will be begging us. Dr. Kong said, but if we can figure out the recipe, others can too, right? Don't worry, Grandpa. We won't be as stupid as Kong Xiaobo, taking dog poop out directly. We'll add some fragrance or something to make the pill fragrant. It won't be easy for people to analyze it then, Xiaolong said. But there's a risk, too. Our main ingredient is dog poop. No matter how hard we try to cover it up, the dog poop will still be found out, won't it? Dr. Kong hesitated. That's true. Xiaolong nodded. It looks like I'll have to figure out how to keep the recipe a secret. Grandpa, I have an idea. Kong Ming Ming, who hadn't had the chance to speak up until now, stood up. He didn't want Xiaolong to take the lead. We'll reduce the proportion of dog poop in each pill, making it as rare as possible. We'll use the rest of the useless ingredients, so we'll just need to take a few more pills. It had to be said that Kong Ming Ming's plan was worth 3. Dr. Kong and Xiaolong listened to Kong Ming Ming's plan and were enlightened. Dr. Kong said, Illumination's method is feasible. Not bad. You two brothers, one intellectual and one martial. House Kong will be able to flourish in the future. Xiaolong wasn't happy that Kong Ming Ming took half of the credit, but he had to admit that Kong Ming Ming's method was very good. Diluting the dog poop and making it look like a supplementary ingredient that people could ignore. Kong Ming Ming smiled. Grandpa, big brother doesn't like that girl. Why don't you give her to me? Kong Xiaoming didn't have any great ambitions in his heart. Sneaking around was fine, but he didn't want to be in control of the corporation. As long as he got the shares in his hands, being a playboy wasn't a bad idea. So when he saw that Xiaolong wasn't interested in Wang Xinyan, he wanted to take her for himself. You brat, what are you thinking? She's your sister-in-law. Dr. Kong glared at his grandson helplessly. I was just saying. Kong Ming Ming felt that it wasn't appropriate and quickly changed his words. Fatty Lai finally got Lin Yi's number from Xu Amin with tears and snot on his face. He'd asked for Lu Tiany's number before, but Lu Tiany wouldn't give him Lin Yi's number no matter what. In the end, Fatty Lai panicked and wanted to be irreconcilable enemies. Lu Tiany had no choice but to give him some advice. Brother Lai, it's not that I'm trying to make things difficult for you, but I really don't dare to. I'm begging Miracle Dr. Lin. How could I just give his information to someone else? How about this? Professor Guan and Miracle Dr. Lin are very close. Go beg him. He'll definitely have a way. I begged him back then. And so, Fatty Lai ran to Xu Amin's house as if he'd received an imperial edict. Xu Amin didn't tell him, so he knelt in front of Xu Amin's house and started crying. Guan Xin came home from her night shift and was shocked to see a fatty crying in front of her house. Who are you? What do you want? You are? Are you Guan Xu Amin's family? Fatty Lai raised his head and asked as soon as he heard someone talking to him. Chapter 432. Little Bodyguard? You're Professor Guan's granddaughter? That's great. Do you know Miracle Dr. Lin Yi's number? I'm looking for him. Fatty Lai started sobbing again. My dad has uremia, and he's dying. Miracle Dr. Lin can cure him, but Professor Guan won't tell us his number. Lin Yi was stunned. You're looking for Lin Yi? Guan Xin paused and looked at the pitiful Fatty Lai. Why don't I tell you? If he blames you, just tell him I gave it to him. Guan Xin was a kind-hearted person. She couldn't bear to see the fatty crying in front of her door, so she gave him Lin Yi's number. Thank you. Miss Guan, you're such a kind-hearted person. You must be Miracle Dr. Lin's girlfriend, right? Fatty Lai may be a crybaby, but he was a veteran in the business world. His ability to read people's expressions was extraordinary. He saw Guan Xion's blush when she mentioned Lin Yi, and he knew that her relationship with Lin Yi wasn't simple. No wonder Xu Amin and Lin Yi were so close. It was because of this. Fatty Lai had been wondering why Lin Yi started a medicine company with Xu Amin. Did he trust Xu Amin that much? Lin Yi's medical skills were much better than Xu Amin's, so there was this layer of relationship between them. No, we're just good friends. Guan Xian was embarrassed by Fatty Lai's words, stuttering as she blushed. But she was happy inside. The fatty may be a crybaby, but his words were nice. Giving him her number wasn't a waste. Then I won't bother Miss Guan anymore. I'll go make the call. Fatty Lai wanted to get closer to Lin Yi as soon as possible. Guan Xian was already embarrassed, but Fatty Lai's words made her breathe a sigh of relief as she ran into the villa. Lin Yi remembered that Tang Yun was supposed to participate in the tree planting tomorrow. He wondered if she had any saplings. He took out his phone and was about to make a call when it rang. He thought it was Tang Yun, but it was an unfamiliar number. Hello. Lin, he answered the phone. Is that Miracle Dr. Lin? Fatty Lai asked in surprise. Miracle Dr. Lin? Who are you? Lin, he was slightly startled. A few days ago, he was looking for Thief Lin, and today he was looking for Miracle Dr. Lin. Miracle Dr. Lin, it really is you. I'm Lai Chang'e. Fatty Lai quickly introduced himself. Lai Chang'e? I don't know him. Lin, he was about to hang up the phone. Sop sop. Miracle Dr. Lin, don't you recognize me? Wah. Fatty Lai started crying again. I remember. As soon as Lin heard the crying, he connected the dots. You are the crying fatty, right? Yes, it's me, Miracle Dr. Lin. You remember now? Fatty Lai was pleasantly surprised. I remember now. What's the matter? Lin asked. It's like this. That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is very effective. I'm here to pay for your medical fees. Should I transfer the money to you? Fatty Lai asked. Oh, that? No need. I told you it's for you. Lin refused after hearing Fatty Lai's intentions. 100 million wasn't a small amount, and Lin needed money, but that pill was covered in dog poop, and Kong Ming Ming had thrown it away. Lin, he couldn't just accept the money. How can I do that? You have to take the money, or my conscience will be hurt. Sop sop. Fatty Lai started crying again. Huh? Lin, he was speechless. Isn't it good to save money for you? How about this? Miracle Dr. Lin, don't you want to open a medical company? How about I give you an office building? I'm building a new building, and I'm planning to move my company there, but I don't need a lot of space. A few floors are enough. I wanted to rent out the rest, but I'll give it to you. What do you think? Fatty Lai asked. If you really want to give it to me, then give it to me. Lin, he didn't reject the offer. It saved him the trouble of looking for another place. Okay, write your name on the deed. Fatty Lai was overjoyed that Lin, he didn't reject him anymore. Write Grandpa Guan. Lin, he wanted to say Guan Xuemin's name, but Xuemin probably wouldn't agree. Write it under Guan Xian's name. Okay, I'll remember it. Fatty Lai nodded quickly. Lin, and Guan Xian really had a close relationship. It seemed like his guess was right. Is there anything else? Lin, he was in a hurry to call Tang Yun. He wasn't in the mood to waste time with Fatty Lai. Yes, that pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Can you sell me another one? Fatty Lai stated his intentions. Oh, your old man won't die for a while. Lin said, when a medical company opens in a few days, I'll take some out for auction. You can buy it then. Okay. As long as it's for sale. Fatty Lai didn't lack money. He didn't care if it was an auction or not. Sob, I'm so happy. Lin, he hung up and let out a sigh of relief. This guy was too much of a drag. He couldn't take it anymore. He shook his head and dialed Tang Yun's number. Hello? Lin? What's up? Tang Yun had just returned home from the hospital when she received Lin Yi's call. We're planting trees at school tomorrow. Do you have a tree? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, do you want one? I have a lot in my yard. Tang Yun said. Just a couple of saplings will do. Ugh. Lin Yi slapped his forehead, remembering that Tang Yun lived in a house in the slums. There was a yard in front of their house, and there were a lot of wild saplings. No, I was thinking that if you don't have any, I can buy some for you. No need, huh? Tang Yun was very happy. Her heart was filled with sweetness at Lin Yi's concern. So, the feeling of being in love was a wonderful thing. She had always rejected it, but now that she really liked someone, she couldn't stop it. All right, see you tomorrow. They chatted for a while until Mrs. Tang called Tang Yun for dinner. Lin Yi hung up. In the floating cloud bar, Jiang Wen's face was dark as he sat beside Sihua. Sihua bro, you have to help me this time. Send some strong people to teach that Lin Yi a lesson. Tai Zhao and I are in big trouble this time. Sihua didn't say anything. Sihua bro, you know that the masters from the Firewolves were taken away by my big bro. The new masters aren't here yet. I wouldn't be asking you for this if it wasn't for that. Jiang Wen was panicking when Sihua didn't say anything. Master? What level of master? Sihua sighed, finally speaking. Chapter 433. Chapter 433. Jiang Wen's visit, little bodyguard? Sihua smiled coldly. Golden class early phase. Is that so strong? Golden class early phase isn't strong? Normal people like us can never reach that height in our lifetimes. Not to mention golden class early phase, even body refinement and chi refining late phase can't reach it. Jiang Wen evidently knew a lot about ancient martial arts and knew that there were two ways to reach golden class: chi refining and body refinement. Haha, that's true, but Lin, he isn't a normal person. Sihua said faintly. Why would I keep him around if he was? Now that he had established a working relationship with Jiang Wen, the two sides were having a good time working together, and Sihua had gotten a huge amount of money from it. He didn't think that selling human organs would be this profitable. No wonder House N, who wasn't that famous before, had become a new noble house all of a sudden. Sihua didn't want to have anything to do with Jiang Wen right now, and so he told the truth about Linny. Not a normal person? What do you mean? Jiang Wen paused. Isn't he Meng Yao's bodyguard? Do you think anyone could be a bodyguard? Peng Zhan wouldn't have hired him to be Meng Yao's side if he wasn't capable at all. Sihua shook his head. Peng Zhan is a person like that. Even the shareholders of his company have masters protecting them, and that Faubert beside him must be at least golden class. Why would he put a piece of trash beside his beloved daughter? Sihua's analysis might sound convincing, but he'd underestimated Lin E before this. Many people were like that. They wouldn't be able to see the reality in front of them if they didn't experience it themselves. Jiang Wen's face changed. Lin E is a golden class as well? I'm a golden class early phase and a golden class late phase, and he killed them. Sihua roared. Do I hate him? Do I want him to die? Of course I hate him, of course I do. But I have no choice. I don't have the strength to fight him. What? What did you say? Sihua bro, are you saying that an early phase and a late phase golden class were killed by Linny? Jiang Wen's eyes went wide as he stared at Sihua in horror. He felt as if his scalp was about to explode, a chill running down his spine. I'm not sure if he killed her, but it looks like a car accident. Sihua sighed, calming himself down. But I don't believe that two golden class masters would die in a car accident. Plus, I sent that early phase golden class master to test Lin E, and he didn't get any advantage. Jiang Wen was completely dumbfounded. He thought that Lin E was just a small fry who knew some kung fu. But it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Not only was Lin E powerful, but he was also extremely powerful. So, if he's not a threat to you, just let him go for now. It's good for both of us. Sihua smiled bitterly. Sihua bro, have dominated Songzhan for 5 years, and I can't do anything to a brat who just came here. Don't you think that's unfair? But I can tolerate this. Jiang Wen knew that Sihua wouldn't lie to him, and there was no reason for him to do so, especially since they were working together now. Sihua wouldn't want anything to happen to him and affect the cooperation. He's not a threat. Jiang Wen shook his head. He's just Meng Yao's bodyguard, not her boyfriend. According to my investigation, he has a girlfriend called Tang Yun, one of the school beauties of Songshan's first school. She's as pretty as Meng Yao, so there shouldn't be anything going on between them. It's just that I can't tolerate this. So what if you can't tolerate it? Humans need to tolerate it, and you'll get used to it. Sihua said with a wave of his hand. I wanted to do it with Tang Yun, but it seems like that's not a good idea anymore. Jiang Wen said, Don't, please don't. If you touch his woman, he'll never forgive you. Even if he's a late phase golden class, you won't be able to rest for the rest of your life. Sihua said quickly, unless you have a master of a higher level by your side to protect you. Yes, you're right. I should change the way I treat Linny. Since we can't be enemies, we should be friends. With him by Meng Yao's side, he'll be like a spy, and I'll be able to keep track of Meng Yao's movements. Jiang Wen thought it through quickly. That's the right way to think. Sihua raised his glass. Come, let's toast to our cooperation. Cheers. Jiang Wen was no longer depressed now that he'd found a temporary solution. Sihua bro, the number of people you've been capturing has clearly decreased a lot, not as much as the first 2 days. The firewolves aren't able to keep up with the demand. Master, and you know that there's only so many beggars and vagrants in Songsan. We've caught most of them already, and the ones who got the news have run away. It's not easy for us to catch them. Sihua said. What about the disabled? There should be a lot of them, right? They're a weak group, and no one would care even if we captured them, right? Jiang Wen had never seen so much money before. The amount of money in his bank account skyrocketed, driving him crazy. It's not that easy to capture the disabled. Some of them are very rich, and they have powerful relatives at home. We can't just touch them like that, and we can only wait in the slums and the suburbs, capturing them the moment we see them. Sihua said, Don't worry, I know some underground bosses in other cities in the province. We can work with them. All right, I'll leave this to you, Sihua bro. Jiang Wen nodded. He knew that he'd be able to make more money if he went to the other cities to work with the underground bosses, but Jiang Wen wasn't familiar with the place and the people. Haosen's roots were in Songsan, and he'd be in trouble if he were to cross the border. Might as well let Sihua handle this. Yeah, don't worry, it's not a problem, Sihua said with a wave of his hand. What surprised Lin was the fact that Jiang Wen still had the face to come visit him again. Lin thought that he'd heard wrong when Yushu called out to him from the door. Chill, bro, Jiang Wen's here again. He's here to ask you out for dinner. Yushu called out from Lin Yi's room. Chapter 434. Chapter 434. Two little Mingyao, on the other hand, sat on the side, her face cold as she chatted with Jiang Wen. Lin Yi, he's here for you. Come talk to him. Mingyao breathed out in relief when she saw Lin Yi. She got up and walked upstairs. Jiang Wen smiled bitterly. He was here for Lin Yi, but he also wanted to get closer to Mingyao. It was like he was here for Lin Yi, and Mingyao wasn't welcoming him at all. Jiang Wen didn't know what he'd done wrong. His relationship with Mingyao was getting worse and worse. Bro Lin, come sit. Jiang Wen greeted Lin Yi warmly. It's been a few days. I've really missed you. Lin Yi felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be that Jiang Wen's sexual orientation changed because of the medicine? He walked over and sat on the sofa 1 meter away from Jiang Wen. Master, and what's up? Did that doll feel good? Jiang Wen's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi was ready to go all out with him today. But Jiang Wen wasn't planning on going all out with Lin Yi today. He was here to show his friendliness to Lin Yi. And so, Jiang Wen suppressed his anger. Haha, lil bro Lin Yi, you're joking. I was just joking last time. That blow-up doll wasn't too bad. No different from a real person. Bro Lin, do you want to try? I'll pass. You play with it yourself. Lin Yi shook his head, wondering what kind of tricks the kid was up to this time. Lin Yi didn't believe that Jiang Wen didn't care about what happened before it all. There was no way he'd be that magnanimous. There had to be something going on. The kid had to have something up his sleeves. Lin Yi raised his guard. Ha, that's fine. Bro Lin has a pretty girlfriend. You don't need these things, haha. I heard she's the school beauty, as famous as Yao Yao sis. Jiang Wen smiled. What do you want to do? Lin Yi's face darkened and his attitude became cold. This guy want to make a move on Tang Yin? Lin Yi wouldn't let him off so easily if he wanted to do anything to Tang Yin. I'm a poor person. Although I don't like to give things to others, I don't mind giving you a coffin. Jiang Wen was a little pissed off at Lin Yi's threat, but when he thought about the 2 golden class masters that had died under Sihua's hands, he calmed down. Compared to those 2 golden class masters, he was nothing. Threatening Lin Yi like that was asking for death. Brother Lin, you've misunderstood. I'm just congratulating Brother Lin for bringing home the beauty. I don't mean anything else. Jiang Wen quickly explained, feeling lucky that he went at Sihua first and didn't do anything to Tang Yin. Otherwise, he'd be dead by now. Oh, Lin Yi nodded faintly and waited for Jiang Wen to continue. He didn't know what he meant. It's like this. You've brought home the beauty, but I'm still alone. Jiang Wen said, You're always by Yao Yao Sis's side. You can always get news about her, right? And Lin Yi asked, I feel that Yao Yao Sis is a lot colder to me. Does she have a boyfriend or someone she likes? Do you know? Jiang Wen asked. How would I know? Lin Yi shook his head. Why would I research that stuff? That's true. Lenny bro, you have a girlfriend. You don't have to worry about that anymore. But I don't. I've been chasing after Meng Yao for so many years. You don't know how a hungry man feels. Jiang Wen's voice was very serious. I've wronged you before because I thought you were Meng Yao's boyfriend, but now that I've done my research, we don't have anything against each other at all. We can totally be friends. Oh, I would have been in trouble if I hadn't been alert. Lin, he didn't pity him at all. What did it have to do with him whether Jiang Wen got Meng Yao or not? Lin, he couldn't let someone as dangerous as Jiang Wen get close to Meng Yao. Huh? Jiang Wen was a little embarrassed. We got to know each other after a fight. Plus, you didn't lose anything, Brother Lin. Oh, then what do you want me to do? Lin, he wasn't in the mood to argue with him. You want to know what Jiang Wen's real intentions were. Lil bro Lin, you see Meng Yao all the time, both at school and at home. Can you help me keep an eye out for guys who get really close to her? Or, if there's any news, can you let me know right away? Jiang Wen said, You want me to be a spy? Lenny understood what Jiang Wen was getting at. Yeah, that's about it. Jiang Wen nodded. That's not an easy job. You know that I'm employed by Mr. Pingzhan. How can I be a spy for someone else? Lin, he looked at Jiang Wen. Of course, I won't let you do it for free. There'll be benefits. Jiang Wen saw that Lin, he wasn't giving him a definite answer. There should be some room for negotiation. I'll pay you. Oh, that's fine. 500,000 a month. That'll be enough to help you. Lin, he said directly. 500,000. Jiang Wen paused. He was thinking of giving Lin 100,000 at most. He didn't expect Lin to ask for 500,000 a month. Forget it if you think it's too much. I don't really want to do it. It's very dangerous. It's not worth it to lose my job for such a small amount of money. Lin, he said faintly. 500,000 was a small amount. Jiang Wen felt a little dizzy. But when he thought about how Lin, he might be a late phase golden class, he didn't think it was strange anymore. Hiring a late phase golden class as a bodyguard wouldn't be cheap. The early phase golden class with his brother cost 5 million a year, not to mention that Lin, he was a late phase golden class. Thinking about it that way, Jiang Wen felt a lot better. 500,000 was only the price of selling a kidney. It wasn't a lot anymore. All right, 500,000. I'll leave everything to you, Brother Lin. Jiang Wen said. Give me your bank account number. I'll transfer it to you directly. Lin Yi told Jiang Wen his bank account number and sent him away. Yushu popped her head out of the washroom. Shield bro, why did you only ask for 500,000? It's too little. Chapter 435. Chapter 435. Meticulous thoughts. You're right. You have to treat us then, or I'll tell Yao Yao about this. Yushu said as she rolled her eyes. I can treat you, but what do you want me to treat you? Lenny asked. I want to eat shark meat. When are you going to take me to catch sharks again? Yushu couldn't forget about shark meat. Maybe when the time comes. Lin Yi sweated. Shark meat wasn't tasty at all. Why was Chun Yi so addicted to it? The next day, the entire graduating class was suspended for a day, and the tree planting activity began. This was a group activity, second only to the spring outing and art festival. After entering the 12th grade, the extracurricular activities had decreased a lot, so most students were looking forward to this activity. Lin Yi, naturally, couldn't be too close to Meng Yao and Yushu in school. Lin Yi gave them the willow seedlings and told them a few things to pay attention to before going to find Tang Yin. Tang Yin brought an elm seedling, which was one of the easiest to grow, similar to Lin Yi's willow. Tang Yin was very happy to see Lin Yi walking over, but hesitated. She had accepted Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart, but walking with Lin Yi in front of so many students was still a little embarrassing. Let's go there. There's less people there. Tang Yin pointed at an empty space not far away. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and went to hold Tang Yin's hand. Tang Yin jumped in fright and tried to run away like a rabbit. She dodged to the side, but she was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't be happy, so she dodged back and looked around. Only after making sure that no one was looking did she give her hand to Lin Yi. Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny looking at Tang Yin's timid face, but he had the urge to protect her even more. She was a cute girl. I'll carry it for you. Lin Yi saw the shovel and seedlings in Tang Yun's hands and grabbed them. It wasn't much for him, but it was a bit heavy for Tang Yun. They found a place with fewer people, and Lin Yi placed the seedlings on the ground, preparing to dig a hole. This seems to be Zhou Ruoming's turf. He used to plant trees around here and wouldn't let anyone plant here. Tang Yun looked around and said to Lin Yi, I was wondering why there were so few people here. Let's do it here then. Lin Yi heard that it was Zhou Ruoming's turf. Tang Yun heard Lin Yi's words and couldn't help but laugh. She covered her mouth and laughed. She couldn't hide from Zhou Ruoming before. She didn't dare get close to him. But now he was planting trees in his turf. Ming bro, isn't it your turf? Why did someone take it over? Yin Lingxi carried the seedlings and looked up to see that their turf had been taken over. How dare someone plant trees in my turf? I'll dig up their trees and throw them away. Ruoming was infuriated by Yun Lingxi's words as well. He was about to run over when he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Wah, it's Lin Yi. Ugh, are we still going to chase them away? Yin Lingxi asked carefully. Chase my ass. Let's go help them. Zhou Ruoming didn't dare to provoke Lin Yi. He quickly put on a smile and walked over. Boss Lin Yi, are you planting trees with sis-in-law? I heard that they took over your turf. Do you want me to change it? Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming and asked faintly. Boss Lin Yi, look at what you're saying. This is the school's land. How can it be mine? I planted a few trees nearby, but they're not mine. Besides, I'll continue planting trees next year and the year after that to protect Boss Lin Yi and sis-in-law's trees in the middle. I'll be the guardian of the trees. Zhou Ruoming said flatteringly. Oh, you've planted quite a lot of trees. It looks like you've been studying for years. Lin Yi said sarcastically. Huh, yeah, look at the trees all over the place. I've planted quite a few of them. Zhou Ruoming said proudly. I'm planning to plant fruit trees this year, and we'll be able to eat them next year. Boss Lin, you will bring sis-in-law back to eat too, right? Let's talk about it when we're free. Lin Yi was speechless. This Zhou Ruoming wanted to continue studying in high school and never graduate? Tang Yun's body was shaking from laughter. With her bright and beautiful face, she looked like a flower. Zhou Ruoming was also stunned, but he didn't dare to stare too much. He knew that Tang Yun was no longer the Tang Yun of the past. If he still had any improper thoughts, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lingxi, come. Let's help Boss Lin Yi dig a hole. Zhou Ruoming stretched his arms and got ready to work. In the past, he would find a laborer to do this, but today he had to do it himself. He wanted to calm Lin Yi's anger as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Lin Yi came looking for them, their family would be finished. Even Uncle Yin wasn't Lin Yi's opponent. What was he? All right, you don't have to do it. Go away. Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming's clumsy look and frowned. You just need to stay away from me and Tang Yun from now on. Don't worry, I don't care about small fries. Yes, then I'll go. Zhou Ruoming heard Lin Yi's words and was overjoyed. His personal safety was guaranteed. Although he was seen as a small fry by Lin Yi, even if he was seen as an ant, as long as Lin Yi didn't come looking for trouble, he would accept it. After Zhou Ruoming left, Lin Yi quickly dug 2 holes. This kind of thing couldn't be easier for Lin Yi. It was much easier than Zhou Ruoming. Shock flashed through Tang Yun's eyes. Only now did Tang Yun understand that Lin Yi wasn't some young master at all. He was the same as her. He had suffered a lot, but today's achievement was the result of his own hard work. But the more it was like this, the more Tang Yun felt uneasy. Lin Yi was too outstanding. It made Tang Yun feel insecure. She was afraid that one day, Lin Yi wouldn't want her and fall in love with someone else. The only thing Tang Yun was confident about was her beautiful appearance. But what was the use of that? Wasn't Guan Xian pretty? Her grandfather was Miracle Dr. Guan. He helped Lin Yi's career a lot. Lin Yi and Guan Xian were a good match. Tang Yun sighed and shook her head. She forced herself not to think about it. Lin Yi wouldn't leave her, would he? Chapter 436. The lonely Xiao was watching Lin and Tang Yin coldly from afar, her face cold. Who knew what she was thinking? Lil sis Xiao Xiao. When are you going to blow up Linny? Pin Liang asked, rubbing his palms together. Your fireworks aren't even ready yet. How am I supposed to blow him up? Xiao Xiao glared at him. Is your plan going to work or not? Don't let Lin Yi find out. He probably won't. Plus, we'll light up the firecrackers after we're sure it's on him and blow his ass up. We'll embarrass him to death. Pin Liang imagined Lin Yi's ass turning red from the explosion, making a fool of himself in front of the whole school. This was his dream. All right, but when will your firestones arrive? Xiao Xiao asked, looking at the dumbfounded Pin Liang. Soon. I called a couple of times already. Pin Liang said. They're flying it over right now. It's called the Eskimo tree. Xiao Xiao looked at Pin Liang oddly. Only a crazy person like him would fly a tree over. You play then. I'll be going back. Xiao Xiao turned and walked back to the school building. One had to admit, Xiao Xiao was the weakest of the big four, and yet she could order the second and third of the big four around. How cool was that? Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was lonely. She didn't have a single true friend. She looked at the stupid Yushu next to Meng Yao and the Kong Xiaobo next to Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao was a little envious. They all had friends, but she didn't friends? I don't need them, Xiao Xiao said in her heart. I don't need friends, and I don't need friendship. I'll just be happy by myself, and I don't need to be separated by death. Liang bro, why do I feel like Xiao Xiao's in a bad mood? Xiaofu asked curiously as he looked at Xiao Xiao's lonely figure. She was peed all over by Lin Yi. If it were you, would you be in a good mood? Pin Liang curled his lips disapprovingly. Let's focus on the Firestone plan. Do you really think Ming Yao's going to like it? I think so. Xiaofu thought about it. Liang bro, why don't you write some love notes for Meng Yao? Fold them into the shape of a heart and put them on the tree? I'm sure Meng Yao will be very happy when she sees it. That makes sense. Then find some paper and help me write. Pin Liang thought it was a good idea and nodded. He didn't have anything to do anyway, so he might as well write some notes. I'm afraid the two of us won't be enough. We need to find some help, Gao Xiaofu said. But as long as we give them some money, there should be a lot of people who will help. All right, I'll leave it to you then. Pin Liang took out 1,000 kuai and gave it to Xiaofu. You take care of this first. I'll go build some momentum. With that, Pin Liang went to find Meng Yao. He needed to tell her about the news beforehand, so she could come out to see him confess his love. Shu, why aren't you digging anymore? Meng Yao asked curiously as she looked at Yushu, who was rubbing her hands on the ground. Oh, I'm tired. Yushu had tossed the shovel to the side. She thought that planting trees was new and interesting, but after digging for a while, she felt tired and decided to give up. She'd wait for Meng Yao to finish digging and plant the 2 trees in the same hole. Yao Yao, let's plant the 2 trees together later, what do you think? It's not much, but you sure know how to slack off. Stand up and dig with me. Meng Yao rolled her eyes angrily. Yushu was treating her like a coolie. But Yao Yao, I'm tired. You're the big sister. You're older than me. You have to let me. Yushu didn't want to get up. This Lin Yi, he's not helping. He only knows how to hit on girls. Meng Yao couldn't do anything to Yushu, so all she could do was grit her teeth and dig with the shovel. She was sweating profusely as she cursed Lin Yi. This bastard, I'm going to cut his salary. Doesn't he have the awareness of a follower? Doesn't he know that this is the time to help? Should I get Shield Bro to help? Yushu felt that it wasn't appropriate to let Meng Yao work alone. Get him? Forget it. He's hitting on girls. Why would he care about us? Meng Yao humph. I don't know what's so good about Tang Yin. Our Shu is so much prettier than her, and cute too. Oh, Yao Yao isn't bad either. Why don't you go seduce Shield Bro and give him a taste of sweetness? He'll come and work for you, right? Yushu suggested. Why don't you go with such a stupid suggestion? You have big boobs. You're perfect for seducing him. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Okay, I'll try next time. Yushu nodded in agreement. Meng Yao was about to continue lecturing Yushu when she heard Yushu call out happily. Yao Yao, we have a helper. The coolie is here. HM. Meng Yao paused and raised her head to see Pin Liang walking over quickly. She asked in a low voice, You're not talking about Pin Liang, are you? Hee hee, yeah. Free coolie like him, it'd be a waste not to use him. Yushu waved at Pin Liang. Liang, Yao Yao is calling you. Pin Liang was overjoyed when Yushu called him pretty. Pin Liang wore a casual suit to match the fireworks tonight, and he thought that Meng Yao thought he looked more handsome because of the suit. He ran over happily. Yao Yao, Shu, what can I do for you? Yao Yao, aren't you tired? You go rest on the bench over there, I'll dig. Yushu said as she grabbed the shovel from Meng Yao's hands and gave her a look. Meng Yao found it funny, but she couldn't do anything about it. Yushu was more brainless than anyone else when she was with her, but she was so smart in front of others. She didn't know if it was an act or something. Yushu was most likely trying to send her away so that Pin Liang could dig a hole for her. She knew that she wouldn't be able to help Pin Liang dig a hole if she was there, but now that she was gone, Yushu could use her name to get Pin Liang to do it. I'll go rest then. Meng Yao didn't want Pin Liang's help, but digging a hole was really tiring. She really wanted to rest. Chapter 437. Hiring coolies. Pin Liang wanted to talk to Yushu about the fireworks tonight without Meng Yao, but it wasn't a good idea to do it in front of Meng Yao. If Meng Yao didn't give him face and rejected him outright, Pin Liang would be in a very bad spot. He wouldn't even have a chance to turn things around then. As a result, Pin Liang planned to talk to Yushu first. As long as Yushu was willing to help, he'd be able to trick Meng Yao into coming out. He was sure that Meng Yao would definitely come out to see his fireworks show, and maybe she'd even fall in love with him. Yao Yao, go get some rest. Shu's right. You need some rest, Pin Liang said, following Yushu's lead. Meng Yao was more than happy that Pin Liang wouldn't bother her anymore. Since he'd asked her to leave, Meng Yao naturally wouldn't reject him. Yushu blinked at Pin Liang after Meng Yao left. Liangi, what do you need from me? Just say it. How did you know? Pin Liang blinked. This Yushu really knew how to predict things. When have you ever come to me without asking for my help? Yushu grinned as she handed the shovel to Pin Liang. Dig a hole for me first, then tell me what's going on. Okay. Pin Liang quickly took the shovel and started digging, looking at Yushu gratefully. She'd always been a troublemaker when he asked for her help before, but she was being nice today. Meng Yao would have fainted if she'd known about this. Yushu hadn't even promised Pin Liang anything yet, and all she did was treat him nicely. Pin Liang was probably the only idiot in this world who'd fall for something like that. I'm thirsty. Get your lackey to get me some cold drinks, Yushu said as she sat down on a pile of dirt, hugging her legs. Okay. Pin Liang called out to Xiaofu, who wasn't far away. Xiaofu, go get some drinks, make it cold. Come back quick. Xiaofu left to get the drinks, and Pin Liang finally spoke up. Shu, I really do have something I need to get rid of you for. Oh, say it. What's the matter? I'll see if it's okay. Yushu nodded carelessly, a little unhappy that Pin Liang had stopped digging. I'll do it myself if you don't want to. You don't need to say anything. Let me finish first. I'll dig. How can I let you dig? Pin Liang jumped and started digging again. I'll tell you as I dig. Here's the thing. There's a tree called the Eskimo tree, and it's said to be a symbol of love. Legend has it that if you confess your love to a girl under this tree, she'll fall in love. You're not going to tell me that you brought an Eskimo tree here, are you? Chen Yushu asked. How could there be such an idiot in this world? How could he believe such an unreliable legend? Yeah, I sent one over by air. I've already asked Xiaofu to write some confession notes and hang them on the tree, Pin Liang said. Is that so? Yushu replied indifferently as she played with her phone. Of course, that's not the main show. I've prepared a show called Fireworks That Never Sleeps. I'm going to release fireworks on the tree and turn them into Yao Yao's name in the sky to confess my love to her. Pin Liang didn't know if Yushu was listening to him. He gritted his teeth in anger, but he didn't dare get angry. Oh, there's fireworks? That's fun. I'll definitely go see it. Don't worry, I'll bring Yao Yao with me. Yushu, naturally, wanted to see the magical fireworks. That's great. Pin Liang was overjoyed, and his digging speed increased. It wasn't long before he had a big hole. Shu, do you think this hole will work? Sure, you can dig another one next to it. Yushu nodded, satisfied. Again, Pin Liang's face turned bitter. One was already tiring enough, and he still had to dig another one? This one's mine. You can dig another one for Yao Yao, but it's fine if you don't want to. I'll call Yao Yao over and tell her that you don't want to help her. Yushu stood up and went to call Meng Yao. Don't. Pin Liang almost cried. He had worked so hard for so long just to dig for Meng Yao. If Yushu yelled at him like that, all his effort would go to waste. Who knew? Yushu might do something bad to him and ruin the night. With that thought, Pin Liang gritted his teeth. I'll keep digging. How can I let you and Yao Yao do it? Leave these things to us men. Then you can continue. Yao Yao said that she likes stronger guys, Yushu said as she sat down. I'm strong. Look at me. I'm not tired at all. I'm only using 30% of my strength. I can still speed up, Pin Liang said quickly. It wasn't long before Xiaofu came running over with a few bottles of drinks. Liang bro, I bought them. Is this enough? It's enough. Pin Liang waved his hand, signaling Xiaofu to leave. He handed 2 bottles to Yushu. Give one to Yao Yao as well. Yeah, I'll go then. Take your time. Call me when you're done. Yushu said as she took the drinks and ran over to Meng Yao. Pin Liang was sweating profusely as he dug with the shovel. He was trying to show off how strong he was. He was tired, but he was gritting his teeth with a smile on his face. Yao Yao, here's a bottle. Yushu handed one to Meng Yao. I'm not drinking. You drink it yourself. Meng Yao shook her head. She was usually careful not to leave any openings for Pin Liang, especially when it came to things like this. Then I'll drink it myself. Yushu didn't care. She was already used to blackmailing Pin Liang. You tricked him into digging. Meng Yao frowned as she watched Pin Liang work hard. No, I just said that Yao Yao likes strong guys, and he wanted to show off. Yushu said with a smile. Since when do I like strong guys? Meng Yao blinked. She didn't expect Yushu to come up with an excuse like this to trick Pin Liang. Isn't Shield Bro very strong? You don't like him? Yushu asked. Chapter 438. And 4-drip Pin Liang was drenched in sweat after digging 2 holes, but he could almost see Meng Yao looking at him with a face full of admiration. Liang bro, you really are my Prince Charming. Pin Liang wiped the sweat off his forehead, feeling energized from head to toe. He wasn't tired anymore. He was daydreaming when Yushu walked over with a grin on her face. Liang, Yao Yao's asking if you're tired. I'm not tired. It's only been a while. I'm not tired at all. It wouldn't be a problem for me to dig 8 to 10 of these holes in one go. Pin Liang said. Oh, that's great. Yao Yao said that she likes strong and helpful guys the most. So go help others dig their holes. Yushu said. Pin Liang almost fell headfirst into the hole at Yushu's words. He still had to help others dig, but he'd already said what he'd said. Wouldn't he be slapping his own face if he went back on his words now? Pin Liang had no choice but to nod dejectedly. I'll go help others. We finally got rid of that idiot. Yao Yao, you can come over now. Let's start planting trees. Yushu waved at Meng Yao. Shu, I really wonder why you're so dumb sometimes, but so smart at other times. Tell me, are you faking it? Meng Yao was quite speechless at her best friend. Oh no, I'm a kid when I'm with Yao Yao. Yushu pulled on Meng Yao's arm. I'm not dumb. All right, you're not dumb. I believe you. Meng Yao shook her head, deciding not to dwell on the problem. She picked up the sapling and started planting it. After a while, Meng Yao and Yushu finished planting the saplings and were about to head back to the classroom to rest when a couple of workers came running over with a strangely shaped sapling in their hands. Pin Liang was at the front, directing them. Pin Liang was so tired that his limbs were numb, but he had to act like he was fine in front of Meng Yao. Be careful, guys. This is an imported sapling. Don't damage it. He waved his arms and legs around. Be careful. This is an imported sapling. Don't break it. Yao Yao, look, someone's really doing that stupid thing you said. Yushu pointed at Pin Liang's Eskimo tree excitedly. Look, that tree's getting in 4-drip too. Meng Yao was speechless. Was Pin Liang really that dumb? He'd gotten a tree within 4-drip. The tree would probably die if he didn't do that. Let's go back to class. Don't worry about him. All right. Yushu wanted to watch the show a little longer, But Pin Liang still needed some time to prepare that firecracker silver flower. It wouldn't be too late to come out and watch when he was done. But Meng Yao and Yushu were just about to leave when Pin Liang couldn't take it anymore, falling head first on the ground. He really couldn't take it anymore. His legs were weak from all the digging, and he hadn't eaten anything since it was almost noon. His stomach was rumbling with hunger, and there was no way he'd be able to take it anymore. Yao Yao, Pin Liang seems to have fainted. Yushu said, wanted to watch the show. Who cares? Someone will take care of it. Meng Yao didn't want to care about Pin Liang's life. Just one look? I'll come back right away, all right? Yushu wasn't the type to pass up a show like this. All right, I'll take a look from afar. Meng Yao nodded, having no other choice. Yushu, on the other hand, quickly ran over. Xiaofu was frantically trying to help Pin Liang up. Liang bro, what's wrong? I'll take a look. Yushu ran over to Pin Liang. Xiaofu didn't know if he should let Yushu take a look or not, but if even Pin Liang didn't dare offend Yushu, how could he? He made space for her to come over. Oh, I know, he must be too weak. Just give him some nutrient fluid and he'll be fine. Yushu's eyes darted around as she pulled out the needle from the Eskimo tree beside Pin Liang and stuck it into Pin Liang's, but the eyes of the bystanders wide. The nutrient fluid for plants could be used on a person? Xiaofu's face changed, almost having a heart attack. Pin Liang wouldn't die, would he? Out! Pin Liang was woken up by the pain. How thick was the needle for the tree? Wouldn't it hurt like hell if it stuck him in the butt? Look, you're awake, aren't you? Yushu said proudly. I'm a miracle doctor. The bystanders almost fainted at Yushu's words. You call yourself a miracle doctor? But Pin Liang did wake up. Yushu, of course, wasn't an idiot. She wouldn't murder someone in front of so many bystanders. There was a lot of meat on his butt, and it wouldn't hurt much. All right, you don't need to thank me. I'm leaving. With that, Yushu turned and ran away. But when Pin Liang turned his head to look at the huge needle sticking out of his butt, he fainted again from the shock. What do we do? He fainted again. Should we pull the needle out and stick it in again? Xiaofu said, troubled as he looked at the unconscious Pin Liang. Shu, how can you just do that? What if you kill him? Meng Yao said, shocked by Yushu's actions. I won't. I picked the fleshy parts to stick it in. Yushu said. Meng Yao didn't know what to say. Wasn't her best friend a little too cruel? Xiaolong called a couple of pet shops, but none of them had purebred German shepherds. There were purebred German shepherds, but Xiaolong compared them with dog poop. There was still quite a difference. So Xiaolong decided to get a purebred German shepherd. He asked around and found out that purebred German shepherds needed to be ordered, but the order period wasn't clear yet. It was a more expensive breed, and the pet shop would usually contact the supplier after there was a buyer. Xiaolong was in a rush, and naturally, he couldn't wait for them to order. He could only use his connections to find out if there were any German shepherds in Donghai, and he really did find out. The owner of a big hotel in Donghai had a German shepherd, and coincidentally, he was a friend of Xiaolong's grandpa. He even went to Xiaolong's birthday celebration. Chapter 439. Chapter 439. Testing. This was a serious matter that concerned the future of House Kong, and so Dr. Kong took it very seriously. He called the owner of the hotel after talking to Xiaolong. He seemed to remember the owner bringing a dog with him on the day of the birthday banquet, but he didn't pay much attention to the dog at the time. He didn't know if it was a German shepherd or not. Mr. Zhang? I'm Kong-like guy. Dr. Kong had a good relationship with the owner of the hotel. Other than the big houses, all the other businessmen had a good relationship with House Kong. After all, House Kong was one of the most successful businessmen among them. They weren't as successful as the big houses, but they were much stronger than them. Hello, Dr. Kong. What can I do for you? The owner of the hotel asked curiously. Why would Dr. Kong call him personally? Even if they had contact, it would be through the eldest son of Dr. Kong, Kong Guifeng. It's like this. I heard that you have a German shepherd? Dr. Kong asked. Oh, I do have one. Mr. Zhang paused. He didn't know why Dr. Kong would suddenly bring this up. My wife doesn't have much to do at home, and she likes dogs. I think we brought that shepherd to your birthday banquet. Mr. Zhang, my grandson Xiaolong likes German shepherds. We've been to many pet shops, but we couldn't find one. I wouldn't be asking for it otherwise. Dr. Kong hesitated. Asking for a dog from Mr. Zhang might raise suspicions, but the situation was urgent. He didn't have time to think about it. Besides, even if Mr. Zhang suspected something, he wouldn't think that he was after dog poop. Oh, so Dr. Kang's grandson likes German shepherds? That's it. I'll get someone to send it to you later. Mr. Zhang paused. He didn't think that Dr. Kong would call to ask for a dog. What kind of big deal was this? With the Kong family's current power and financial resources, what dog couldn't they buy? Mr. Zhang didn't think much about the fact that Mr. Kong was calling him to ask for the dog, so he agreed without much thought. Miracle Dr. Kong, this dog of mine is a little special. My wife has been spoiling it since it was young, and it often steals food from our house, pees and defecates everywhere. If you hadn't mentioned this, I would have sold it or given it to someone else. But since I'm giving it to you, I have to tell you this first. I can't lie to you. Dr. Kong thought to himself, isn't it good to poop? He was afraid that it wouldn't poop, so he said, this is just a small problem. It's not a big deal. Thank you so much for helping me, Director Zhang. When the time comes, I'll definitely get Xiaolong to come and thank you personally. Haha, it's no big deal. Since Dr. Kong says there's no problem, I'll get someone to send the German shepherd to you later. Mr. Zhang said. Mr. Zhang was one of the people who fawned over the Kangs, so it didn't take long for the German shepherd to be delivered to the Kang's mansion. After Xiaolong got the German shepherd, he fed it a huge meal of dog food and finally received a warm puddle of dog poop. It's the same. Exactly the same. After our lab analysis, we found that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's composition is exactly the same as this dog's poop. Our previous analysis was correct. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's composition is the German shepherd's poop. Xiaolong excitedly took the analysis report and returned to the villa to report the good news to Dr. Kong. It's really the same? Dr. Kong couldn't hold back his excitement as well. He slammed his palm on the coffee table in front of him, almost knocking over the tea on it. One could imagine how excited he was right now. It's really the same. We got the composition of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Xiaolong said. Next, we can start the clinical trial. Good, good. There's hope for House Kong. Dr. Kong threw his head back in laughter. Xiaolong, you and Xiaoming are working hard this time. While you're buying purebred German shepherds in bulk, get someone to try this dog poop and see if it's effective. Grandpa, I don't recommend getting outsiders to test it. Xiaolong shook his head. Our research on the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is still in a secretive stage, and we shouldn't let outsiders know about this. Even if we don't tell them it's dog poop, they'll probably be able to guess it, so we suggest that it's better for our own family to test it. You're right. Go get your dad, your second uncle, and Xiaoming over. We'll discuss this together. Dr. Kong stood up and closed the curtains. Xiaolong was right. This was the family's top priority, and they couldn't let outsiders get involved. If the recipe were to be leaked, the losses wouldn't be small. In Dr. Kang's study, Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsupu, Kong Xiaolong, and Kong Mingming sat on the sofa. Dr. Kong, on the other hand, was sitting on his chair with his eyes closed, deep in thought. No one dared to disturb him, and they all sat on the side carefully, waiting for Dr. Kong to speak. After a while, Dr. Kong opened his eyes. This dog poop has been classified as House Kang's #1 secret. Only the few of us know about it. Don't tell anyone else, including your current and future wives. Understood. Kong Guifeng knew the importance of this. Once the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was successfully developed, House Kong would be in a completely different position. As a result, this recipe couldn't be leaked. Suepu and Xiaolong nodded as well. Even Kong Mingming understood the importance of this. He quickly promised, Grandpa, don't worry, we won't tell anyone. All right, next up, we'll be researching the clinical trial. Xiaoming had enough trouble with it before, so this time, he won't be participating. Dr. Kong said, this time, Gui Feng, Sui Pu, Xiaolong, and I will be the ones to test it. Grandpa, I'm fine. Kong Ming had been full of energy ever since he'd taken half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Naturally, he wanted to participate as well. Since you've requested it, then let's participate as well. Dog poop doesn't go bad even if it doesn't taste good. Dr. Kong nodded, not insisting. I'll take the remaining half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. You guys split the dog poop. Miracle Dr. Kong said as he pointed at the 2 boxes on the coffee table. Dr. Kong wasn't an idiot. Although it looked like the dog poop was the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he couldn't guarantee that it was the case. As a result, he decided to take the remaining half of the pill. Kong Ming actually wanted to take the other half of the pill, but seeing that his grandpa had taken the initiative, he didn't want to argue. He could only nod in agreement. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.